Hello, and welcome to Books and Crannies,
a book lovers podcast.
I am Danielle,
I'm Sarah.
and it's episode 3, y'all.
Episode 3. We're starting at Court of Mist and Fury.
Yeah, I was gonna say, do you know what that means? And you said it.
I did.
Freaking Akamath.
Math.
A court of Mist and Fury. I was about to say one that I might pronounce right, and then I stumbled over it. So I don't know if I should ever read the titles of the books.
Just don't.
That might just be your job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
Word. Well, y'all, this episode we're moving on from ACOTAR. I mean, we're still in the world of
but
ACOTAR, but it's Mist and Fury. And guess what? It's my freaking favorite.
Mine too.
I love this book so much.
I forgot how much I love this book until I started reading it. And then I
Same.
was like, oh my god.
Yeah, there's a specific part where I was like getting the good feels. I'll tell you about it later.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, we read
chapters 1 through 24.
1 through 24. And y'all, it does not mess around.
It's a lot.
This book from the get is like,
yeah.
I'm going to just get fiery.
Yeah.
And sassy and build an entirely new world and just really set you up for some juicy reading.
It is exciting. It really pulls you in.
Yeah. Yeah.
Couldn't put the book down.
Yeah. It's so good.
Yeah.
And we have to stop, you guys. We can't just keep reading. It's got to be fresh in our brains for the episode we're on.
Well, I don't want to, accidentally give info from the next chapters.
That's true, too.
Not thinking about it, you know?
Yeah. Accidentally mention something that's not there. That could be in foreshadowing conversations.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're rambling.
Let's started.
Freaking get into it because there's a lot to talk about.
It's a lot. Buckle up, y'all. It's going to be another long episode.
Yeah, probably. We'll see if we get to anything outside of the book this time.
We probably won't.
Probably not. There's a lot to freaking unpack here. And we start in the Spring Court. We start in the Spring Court.
I had to burp. I'm sorry.
The pause, oh.
There's actually, we don't, I guess, we start in the prologue, but there's oh my god.
There's a page or two where...
We don't start in the prologue, we start in the Spring Court, but there's a prologue that's sorry.
You're good, we're getting there.
Explaining how just absolutely destroyed Feyre is after Under the Mountain.
Yeah. Are you talking about the couple pages right before the first chapter?
Yeah.
Chapter.
Isn't
she dreaming about killing herself instead of the Fae that she had to kill in the third challenge in ACOTAR?
Yeah.
She's having this really terrible dream, and it feels like she's chalking herself up to being as low as Amarantha. She is her, is kind of the vibe that dream gives. So, I mean, we left off last time where she got utterly destroyed, right? She killed a couple people.
She killed 2 Fae and then stabbed Tamlin in the heart.
Right. And, murder will mess you up.
Yeah.
And Feyre's not an exception.
No.
That is a big part of this first section.
Absolutely.
She's just she's working through grief and cannot figure it out.
She is on the struggle bus.
On the big old struggle bus.
It's a giant struggle bus.
Yeah, and she's on it alone. But she has this dream, and then it dives into the first chapter, and she's waking up, vomiting. It's the middle of the night. And mentions having had these dreams a bunch of times. This is not the first time. It's almost every night.
Yeah, and we're 3 months out from Under the Mountain.
From the UTM. Yeah, we're 3 months out. So there's been some time in between the last book and now. Not much.
We just dive right back in.
Yeah, we get our hands messy immediately. I don't really know what that means, but go with it. But yeah, she wakes from this nightmare. In the middle of the night, Tamlin doesn't wake up.
Of course not.
He doesn't even acknowledge her.
No.
I think she mentions, he never says anything about the dreams, but has his own dreams.
Yeah.
Also. And never says anything about those either.
Yeah.
And she doesn't want to pry.
Yeah, which just seems, really unhealthy to me.
It does.
Both of y'all should be talking about what you went through. That's traumatizing.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
You should talk about it. I feel like Tamlin wants to just pretend it never happened.
Yep. That's the name of the game for Tam Tam.
Name of the Tammy Tantrums. This guy.
Yeah.
We'll get into it more, but man, that just gives you a glimpse. This first chapter, he's not fucking supporting her through anything.
No.
Yeah.
No, he's kind of awful.
He is kind of awful and just gets worse. But at this point, there's a callback to the, bargain that she made with Rhys. in the last book and how she has yet to hear from him.
Yeah.
3 months later.
3 months.
And he said it would be every month.
Yep.
But it's been 3. And no word.
He's giving her a minute, I guess, to get used to her new Fae body.
Yeah, I guess. She is Fae now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Daddy Reese has yet to call in the bargain. He has yet to call in the bargain. So she's just waiting. She's like, when's that going to happen? Is he just going to pop up? Or maybe he forgot. I think she's like, maybe he just forgot.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, please.
Come on.
Did you learn anything about Reese while under the mountain?
Well, and not only that, but you both have this, like, giant tattoo marking the bargain. And I'm pretty sure he's not going to forget.
That's cognizant. That helped you under the mountain.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're marked for life. It's not going away. I feel like if the Bergen weren't there and weren't upheld, then the tattoo might not be.
Yeah.
You know?
Might just fade away.
If he was like, meh. She wakes up, naked arm.
Naked arm. Well, and then it's revealed that friggin' Tamlin and Feyre are engaged.
Oh, yeah.
Which, like, ew.
Yeah. And it's
let's not make major life decisions while we're both traumatized and can't even talk about what happened.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah. Tamlin had proposed.
Yeah.
And they're in the throes of planning. And by they, I mean Feyre and Ianthe.
I have absolutely no idea how to say her name.
Ianthe.
So I asked my mother.
Yeah.
Because I was like, Mom, help. And she said that it's pronounced Ianthe. But I kind of hate that.
Ianthe.
Yeah.
It's like Yancey, but Yancey? I don't think that's the name either.
It's like this other name that doesn't exist.
Yeah, it's another made-up name. I'm sure it's a real name, y'all. We're not trying to be rude. Somebody please tell us the correct pronunciation. We can run with, I don't know, I was saying Ianthe. Ianthe sounds better, maybe.
We'll just call her our own things. She's one of those that when I read this series the first time was one of those that I was like,
uh-huh.
Yeah,
she's there.
Yeah.
We learned about her as a high priestess. Apparently, she's like the youngest one to have ever existed.
Yeah. And it's supposed to be like the overseer of. Hang on.
Well, she has like a temple.
Yeah.
She's
supposed to lead people from despair and darkness.
Oh.
I'm like.
So all of these high priestesses sprinkled throughout the land are like spreading the good word of the cauldron.
Yeah.
And helping the courts in some capacity. Yeah.
How do you feel about her?
In the beginning, dislike her immediately.
Yeah, same. I just get a bad vibe from her.
She seems, she wants her hands and everything. Granted, like, Feyre is very withdrawn and doesn't want to do anything.
Yeah.
Like, her only confidant is Ianthe. That's like her only outlet is talking to her.
Yeah.
And she's running the show for Feyre. Like, I think that's what gave me bad vibes. Is Ianthe's like, oh, you can't do any of this, I'll just do all of it. And she's really meddly, feels like.
I feel like she's like treating her like a doll.
Yeah. Yeah. And like prepping her and making her the lady of Springcourt.
Yeah.
Like, you have to act a certain way. You have to dress a certain way. You have to be this person if you want to, represent the court well.
Ew.
There's a lot to say about that. But yeah, Ianthe, I don't know. I don't even know how to refer to her. That lady, priestess. Maybe we go with that. She's there being a crutch. She's helping plan a bunch of crap. And she really wants Lucian.
Oh, yeah.
She wants to tap that.
Yeah, she's obsessed with it.
Yeah, and he is not a fan.
No.
At all.
I don't blame him.
I know. In the beginning, I was like, is it because the high priestesses left to the continent when Amarantha was doing her thing and he, like, has a grudge about it?
Right.
Because that's all we know about her so far.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
we'll find out more later.
Maybe he's just like, you freaking pansies.
Actually, we don't find out more about why he hates her so much, do we? Not in this chunk of chapters. But it's like there's an assumption
in this chunk of chapters, we learn more about her, and you can assume that, like, that's why.
Okay.
Bad vibes, bad juju.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's not a fan, and she just wants to reel in him, and make another connection, I guess, in the spring court. You know? Find footing. There is, I think, Feyre talks about, being Tamlin's wife and asks about what she has to do as a high lady and finds out that high lady does not exist.
Yeah. Which is the masochism. I can't.
Masochism?
Is that not
misogyny?
Misogyny. Very wrong word.
I was like, masochism likes pain, I think.
These are two very different things, Sarah. Get it
That's
together.
okay. I mean, maybe that's also true for someone. In the book.
The misogyny.
The misogyny.
God.
Yeah. There is no high ladies.
Which.
Yeah, that just doesn't exist. It's not a thing. Rude.
Lies.
Yeah.
Also.
Well.
We'll get there.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. And then, there's banging.
Yeah, but it's also noted, I want to say while we're talking about Yanthe or whatever her name is, Feyre says that she wears a bracelet that's eerily similar to a bracelet that the Children of the Blessed wear.
Oh, yeah. There was a weird connection made there.
I don't know if that's going to tie back somewhere or...
Yeah, I think she wonders if the priestesses are who, created the Children of the Blessed.
Right.
In some capacity.
I just thought it was a little weird and noted it because I'm like, is that going to circle back? Because I don't remember.
I don't remember
if it
either.
Does.
Yeah, I don't know. But she also is, in a robed, hooded clothing. She has, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
I guess just imagine a high priestess, maybe.
Yeah.
Like a nun, but not.
I was going to say like a pope, but nun is more accurate probably.
A pope.
A pope.
Not the pope, but just a pope. One of them. Yeah, no. They have some sort of spiritual garb is more what I'm trying to get to. And then in all of this, Tamlin is going out and rebuilding and taking care of things after Amarantha.
Yeah.
Trying to help the people, killing off rogue Amarantha creatures.
Yeah, and helping rebuild villages. Today is not a good podcast day, y'all. Villages.
It's fine. It'll just get weird. That's okay. Yeah, trying to rebuild villages. I was about to fuck it up, so thanks for that. But Feyre keeps begging him to go with him.
She's
she
needs out of the friggin' manor.
Take me. I'm losing my mind.
Yeah.
Being stuck in this house and planning a wedding that I don't give a shit about. And you're off gallivanting and leaving me all the time.
Yeah.
So not only is he not taking her with her, but he's gone constantly. So
yeah.
She's just on her own with freaking good old priestess.
Which, Tamlin, just friggin' let her come.
Yeah.
Why?
Well, he's now at this point where, God, he gives me the ick for all of this section. Because I'm you're such an overbearing, grumpy man-child, who won't give her an inch.
Yeah.
Won't give her an inch.
I get major, abuser vibes from him.
For sure.
Just the control and the...
Yeah.
Every time he does something that pisses her off, he's immediately I'm so sorry, please forgive me, and then bangs her until she forgets.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Well, and Feyre keeps, trying to defend his behavior, saying he's, he wants to be this protector, this, whatever. And he's doing this all for me, and la la la. At the same time, sitting there and saying, I don't know if what I wanted before Martha is still true.
Right.
I have yet to discover who I am and what I want to do.
Right.
And I'm also having horrible nightmares all the time. Mm-hmm. And he doesn't even acknowledge them. God! He gives me the ick. But anyway, amongst all this conversation of her asking to leave, Lucian takes her out finally.
Yeah.
To a village.
Oh, yeah. Well, no, he convinces Oh, no, it is Lucian. Never mind.
Lucian, pulls her aside one day, and he's like, we're going to the village.
Let's go.
Come on. Giddy up. Let's go see what we can do. And when they get there, every villager is like, no, you've done enough.
Yeah, they won't let her help because they say that the...
Feyre Cursebreaker.
Yeah, they call her Feyre Cursebreaker, which is kind of weird. And they won't let her help because they say the debt is paid.
Yeah, the debt's paid. So she's now seen as this,
Cursebreaker.
Yeah, Cursebreaker, this salvation for the land. They all look at her as this, symbol of peace, and she has to, uphold that image. Per Tamlin, of course. But I know it's mentioned in this that none of the villagers that they're talking to were likely under the mountain. It was only high fae from the court that were, not just everyday fae.
All the lowly villagers weren't invited.
The lesser fae.
Yeah.
Those fools. And in that time, they had camps and stuff and started preying on each other. All the people outside of under the mountain were making war bands and fighting amongst themselves.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have enough to worry about right now?
Yeah, like,
band together.
Come together.
Yeah.
Work as a team.
Yeah. You may not be high fae, but maybe you could have done something.
Maybe. Jeez. Or you could have been like Alice and just, like, mind your own business. Yeah. Go get your kids and hang out.
Yeah. Instead of causing more chaos and ruckus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Lucian, I think Feyre says, like, you brought me here to prove a point, didn't you?
Mm-hmm.
Because he brought her there to show her that, like, your help isn't needed. It won't be taken.
Yeah, no matter how much you ask, like, you can't do anything.
Yeah.
And she keeps trying to challenge him. And you can see that Lucian is battling with this, like, Tamlin's treating her like shit, but he's also my High Lord and his word is law, I think he says at one point. And I was like, Lucian, relax. Like, yes, he's High Lord, but you have a mind of your own, in fact.
The whole situation is just so icky.
It's disgusting.
I hate it.
I know. It's terrible.
And the fact that she's still, like, going along with the wedding, I'm like,
I know.
Come on,
I
Feyre.
Know. In all of this. She doesn't, think now would be a good time to say, no thanks. Well, I'm good.
She'll learn her lesson soon. It's okay.
Yeah, you're not wrong. And then we're approaching the wedding day.
Yeah. People start, like, coming into the court for the wedding.
Yeah, there's a party. Ahead of time, and Feyre is not interested.
No, she actually, I noted that she completely avoided Tamlin during the party.
Yeah.
Like, she doesn't even want to be around him.
No.
Which is a sign that you shouldn't marry him.
Yeah.
Come on.
Red flags. Red flags all around. Yeah, he's trying to introduce her to his friends, and she's like, ew.
Yeah, and then she just hangs out with Yanthy the whole time.
Yanthy.
Good old Yanthy.
I can't get over her name. We'll figure it out one day. I Googled it, too.
I did, too. And I sent you the Reddit that I saw. I saw a Reddit looking up how to pronounce her name. And, like, the top comment was, bitch. Accurate.
Truly, yeah. She just seems conniving. But she's, like, leaning on the priestess, trying to avoid everyone, really. She doesn't want to talk. And then she's approached by a couple of Tamlin's dudes that are in his army. And they start asking about, like, Under the Mountain. And she's like, could we not, though?
Yeah, like, I don't want to talk about this.
Like, literally, you're picking at a scab. Like, it's not even a healed wound.
No.
You're just letting it bleed again.
Yeah.
And she doesn't want to do any of it.
What were their names? Did you have it?
Braun and Hart.
Okay.
They mention the worm, good old SpongeBob worm, and talk about hunting. Like, they're trying to find something in common. Like, oh, so you know how to hunt.
Yeah, that's right.
And she's like, I don't want to do any of that, though.
Yeah.
Like, that's not at all relatable anymore.
Yeah.
Because I'm just a shell of a person.
I feel so bad for her.
I know.
At the same time, I'm like, snap the fuck out of it.
Yeah.
Which I know is, like,
it's easier
trauma,
said than done.
Easier.
I mean, I can't imagine, one, having killed people, but then also, you died.
Yeah, you're an entirely new person.
You died and were made. Like, your body is not you, and you still have a human inside of this new, like, fake, crazy fucking, that's insane.
Yeah, it's still your same brain, but you're now an immortal, highly powerful.
You're high.
Just stoned as hell.
I mean, maybe she needs that.
Maybe. Good for your mental health.
She needs to just, like, take a load off, relax, burn some. Anyway. Then we get to the freaking wedding day.
The wedding.
Okay? And they're putting her in this absurd dress.
Which, I forgot to mention earlier, there was, like, a fight about the dress. Feyre hates her wedding dress.
Yeah.
Tamlin sided with Yanthy instead of with her.
Even though he also didn't like it.
Yeah, why is he catering to her so much?
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't get it, and I hate every second of it.
Everyone is just, like you said, treating her like a doll, like some pawn that they can do whatever they want with. And he sides with Anthe about the dress, of which everyone hates because it's obnoxious and ridiculous.
Yeah.
So she's uncomfortable. She starts heading out.
She's walking down the aisle.
And starts to panic.
Yeah, she sees, there's like a pile of red rose petals on the aisle.
Yeah, even though she specifically asked to not include the color red.
Yeah, I have that written down, like, who did that? It was probably Yanthy.
It was probably freaking bitch.
Yanthy.
It was probably her, for sure. She noted that as, like, that was something specifically not asked for. I'm going to do it to fuck with her.
Yeah.
And she's she's having a panic attack. Just constantly throughout this section, she's panicking. And it's so heartbreaking. And she like starts going through these thought processes of not being worthy of Tamlin, like as she's approaching, because she's so broken, because she, you know,
she's not.
She
doesn't feel like a whole person anymore.
Yeah, and she thinks that because she's going through this grief and trauma and depression, that she's not worthy of him.
Yeah.
But I'm like, underlying all of that, Feyre, you really still want to marry him?
Right.
Or you're just not admitting that to yourself,
right.
that you have no interest.
Right.
Because now your priorities have changed. Ugh. So, of course, she approaches, stops at the days, and Tam's like, come on, here.
Come on, my little dolly.
Here's my hand.
Yeah.
Grab it.
And she starts begging in her mind.
Yeah.
Someone to make it stop.
Someone save me.
Save her.
Over and over again.
Yeah.
And who shows up?
Who could it be?
Ring, 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 Daddy Reese.
Daddy Reese.
Pops in. He's like, hey, guys. Nothing going on, right? I'm just kidding.
I'm not interrupting anything, am I? I'm just here to take Feyre.
Yeah.
The lady of the day.
Right. You know the bargain we made? Yeah, now's the time. I know it's been 3 months. You thought I might forgot. Yeah. No, I'm here.
He's like the sassy news. I have arrived.
Hey. Where's the champagne? And of course, everyone's scared of him.
Yeah.
Like everyone, all the crowd, the wedding goers start backing up, like climbing over chairs. Dissipate.
They're like, peace.
They just leave.
Yeah.
Because they're like, oh my God, the freaking High Lord of the Night Court.
Even freaking Yanthy disappears.
Oh yeah, she just runs away.
Yeah. She's like,
I'm going to say no.
Sorry if that was loud.
That's fine. I'm sure there's many jump scares in these episodes when we get nice and hot and heavy close to the microphone. But anyways, Anthe leaves.
Yeah.
Tamlin's pissed.
Yeah. Tamlin and Lucien like kind of square up a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Like,
you want to fight? Come on. You can't take my dolly.
He's like, really straight though. You can't take my plaything.
Yeah.
It's like it's not about Feyre at all.
No.
But yeah, of course they're angry.
Yeah.
And they're like, dude, why are you here? And he was like, well, it sucks to suck that you're angry. He calls in the bargain. And then Tamlin, actually, though, after being mad for a second, quickly gives in.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, yeah, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
And Lucian's mad about that. Like, he's pissed that Tamlin just let go and let it happen. And Feyre's shook, too. She's like, really, Tamlin? You're going to just let me be stolen right now?
You can't even fight for me?
Yeah. You did nothing. You just bent the knee.
I hate him so
I
much.
do too.
I'm going to say that a lot in this episode.
Know. It's just the brink of it, too. Like, this just starts the narrative of Tamlin being just a big toddler.
Yeah.
Who doesn't want to share.
Yeah.
But, yeah, he lets Reese take her real quick, and they show up at the night court.
Yeah.
They vanish together in a cloud of shadows. And she's like, what the hell?
Mm-hmm.
How'd that happen?
What the heck?
What the heck?
Oh, we know.
Oh, we know. That is mentioned later. But she, is confused as to how they got there.
Yeah. And she's, like, terrified, thinking that she's going to be, like, under this mountain again and tortured and in this dungeon again.
Well,
and they just show up in a house.
I know. They had mentioned that Martha built the Under the Mountain, like, based around Reese's court. So I'm sure she's thinking that's what she's walking into.
Yeah.
But they get there and it's just a house.
Just a little house.
Mm-hmm.
And Feyre's like, how the heck did you, what the heck? How did you know that I needed you?
Yeah. Yeah, Reese also keeps saying, like, just thank me for saving you from saying no.
Yeah.
And she's like, how? Why?
How did you know?
And he says, well, I heard you loud and clear.
Through the bond
of their bargain.
Which
should make sense to her, because under the mountain he's sending her messages and stuff through the eyeball.
Yeah.
Or just the bond in general.
Well, we've established that Feyre isn't the smartest person ever.
Yeah. Yeah, facts. Doesn't make the greatest decisions, so on and so forth. But he keeps prodding her to say thank you, and she throws some shoes at him, which I thought was kind of funny.
I really liked that moment.
Yeah.
It was a little sassy Feyre.
Sass. She just, like, gets fed up with him being sassy himself and chucks some shoes at him.
Yep.
He's like, could you not? And then she gets a dope-ass room.
Yeah, and the friggin' handmaidens from Under the Mountain.
Yeah, now we know their names are Nuala and Caradwyn.
Sure.
I'm pretty sure.
Sure.
I feel like that feels right.
Nuala is for sure what I call that one.
Nuala and Caradwyn. I googled that one too, so if Google's wrong, let me know, guys.
All right, cool.
Let me know. But yeah, they're the shadowy handmaidens from Under the Mountain. She never saw them before, and they look more clear now, she says. Like, she can kind of actually see their face and whatnot. Oh, and also when Rhys leaves the room after she chucks shoes at him, he talks to some lady in the hall.
Oh, yeah.
Who's like, well, that didn't go well.
Yeah. And giggles about it. She's like,
it sucked.
You suck.
Do better, Rhys. But then she has breakfast with good old Daddy Rhys.
Yeah, and he, like, gives her a little tug on the brain to get her to, like, find where he's at.
Oh, yeah. He sends a signal, which he did before they left Under the Mountain, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she describes the tug on the bond as, like, a servant's bell.
Yeah.
Which, I'm like, that's uncomfortable.
Yeah, that's uncool.
I don't like it.
It's like, come here.
Come here, little one.
Come on. Ew. Leading her down a brain path. I don't know. But, yeah, they go and have brekkie. And they're talking about, like, the seasonal nature of the courts. Mm-hmm. How we know that, like, spring court is perpetually spring. Yeah. But they're in the night court, and it's, like, winter right now.
Oh, yeah, and Feyre said that, like, she expected it to be dark, and there's, like, sunshine, and...
Yeah, he said something about how the rest of the courts, their seasons are tied to the High Lord's power.
Yeah. Whereas
in the night court, they have all the seasons.
They're solar courts or something like that?
Yeah, solar courts, something like that. And they have really spectacular nights, he alludes to. Like, it's not meant to be seen during the day.
Yeah.
Nighttime is the way to go. And then he's like, you know what we're going to do out here?
You're going to learn how to read.
You're going to read.
You're going to learn how to freaking read.
She's like, are you just, like, making fun of me right now, bro?
Yeah.
Like, you're just trying to call out my weaknesses? And... yeah, he insists on that and also tells her she can shield her mind from him.
Oh, yeah, and they're going to work on those two things at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. That's a lot in a week.
Yeah, it is. But I think it's nice that Rhys wants to help her.
Yeah.
He also has ulterior motives, though, because she asks, like,
what's in it?
What's in it for you? And he says,
he won't tell her.
He won't tell her. He's like, that's for me to know.
Yeah. And you to find out if you want to help me or something.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
He mentions needing her help.
He's trying to convince her to help him
right.
do something. He won't tell her what.
Right. But... he won't mention what it is. Like, he needs her agreement beforehand.
Yeah.
Before he'll tell her anything. But yeah, he says, the reading and shielding are vital skills for the Lady of Spring Court instead of freaking High Lady. Whatever. And then more comes up.
Morgan.
I freaking love
Rhys's
Morgan.
cousin.
Yeah, cousin, and that's loose.
Yeah,
they're not actually related, I don't think.
They're cousins.
And she's sassy, and she's beautiful. Yeah. Me too. She's described as just absolutely stunning, and wears like scantily beautiful dresses.
Yeah,
she likes to show off the bod, which fair. And she's like, "You brought my new best friend," basically.
Yeah. And Feyre doesn't recognize her from Under the Mountain.
Yeah.
And asks her about it,
I don't know if yet. I think when she meets the Inner Circle, they talk about that a little bit. Unless she did. I don't know.
I just haven't noted that Moore almost lets it slip. Like, oh, I wasn't there because I was... And then Rhys stops her.
Oh, okay. So we know that Moore wasn't there for sure at this point.
Yeah.
And they have a really brief interaction. I feel like Moore has somewhere to be and is like, let's hang out while you're here.
Yeah.
Just give me a holla.
Yeah.
Literally. I think they make a joke about that. I don't know. But yeah, Morgan wants to see her.
Yeah.
Is excited she's there. And I love her.
I also love Moore.
Yeah. But, they start practicing the shielding and essentially Rhys is flaunting his power and being like, yeah, so I could shadow your mind without a thought.
Yeah.
Like, it would take nothing. So you should maybe try to stop me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like she, like, gets the whole hang of it pretty quickly.
She does, yeah. I mean, he, like, sets her up to practice both reading. I think he starts writing dumb little sentences, which she's like, you idiot. Because they're like, Rhysand is amazing.
Yeah,
Rhysand is hot.
I have the first sentence that Feyre ever reads is, "You look absolutely delicious today, Feyre."
Oh, yeah. Yeah, she reads that and gets all angry. She's like, what the hell? Of course, that's what you'd put. But that's very, like, Rhys.
It's very
as you
Rhys,
come to learn.
yeah.
And then at the end of, after that, I think he comes back and she shows him that she's made progress, and then he shows her a map. And he's like, what do you see here?
Yeah. I don't remember this.
He brings her into a different room, shows her a map of Prythian and the continent and stuff, and he asks her what she sees, and she says a world divided in two, or something along those lines, and then he drops that, war's coming.
Which, I mean, it's been kind of alluded to a little bit with all of the happenings in Spring Court.
Yeah.
Tamlin having to leave all the time.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I feel like Tamlin, won't tell her anything.
No.
Like, Rhys is talking about how, you have connections with Tamlin, is alluding to the idea that they want to form some sort of alliance against this war.
Yeah.
And Feyre's like, I literally didn't know about this because Tamlin won't tell me anything.
Yeah.
Like, she just assumes he's cleaning up after Under the Mountain.
Right.
Essentially. Because there were dudes who left.
Yeah.
Afterwards. The allies. But when he does mention it, I feel like she immediately assumes that Rhys wants to go march on mortal lands. Like, that's her assumption.
Yeah.
That he's the evil force that is going to be Warren.
That's what's been kind of drilled into her head, I feel like.
Yeah, that's what Recent has built.
Yeah, that's what he wants people to think.
He wants everyone to think he's an evil bad guy.
Yeah.
Who's out to get you.
Yeah.
He'll get you.
Which, like, good facade.
Yeah.
When you're...
I
realized my ice was making too much noise.
That's okay.
When you're a high lord of a powerful court, you want
people to be afraid of you.
You don't want people to walk all over you.
Or think exactly. I was going to say anyway. Yeah. So then they kind of talk about the King of Hybern.
Yeah, he tells Feyre about Hybern's plans to reclaim the mortal lands.
Yeah.
Because he
hates,
a D-bag.
He hates the mortals and wants to take the land back. He also mentioned something about, like, Amarantha being this test to see if in, like, how well or how long Prythian could be controlled.
Yeah.
And conquered.
Yeah. And
she failed that test.
Yep.
After 50 years. I mean, she was there for a minute.
49.
Oh, sorry. 7 by 7. Freaking Amarantha. But yeah, she was a test. So now the King of Hybern, like, kind of understands the gist of the Prythians. Mm-hmm. And he wants to march.
Yes. And then Rhys tells Feyre about his fight in the last war.
Yeah.
And what he went through.
And she's like, holy shit, you're however many years old. 5,000 years old or something?
Something like that.
I think the war was only like 500 maybe. But he's old as shit. And
Yeah.
fought in the first war. But he was on the Human Fae Alliance team. Squadron.
Way to go, Rhys.
Yeah, he was helping those mortals. Those freaking weaklings.
The weaklings.
Out there.
Rhys also tells Feyre in this time that there can be a such thing as high ladies.
Oh, yeah.
Which...
Yeah, he's
what
like,
the heck,
I mean,
Tamlin?
who makes the rules? Rhys is like, don't listen to that bullshit.
Yeah.
You could be a high lady if you want. It's totally fine. And she's like, okay, whatever you say. There was a quote. Oh, and she keeps asking, like, what he wants from her and all of this. And he mentions her hunting skills, her connection to Tamlin, etc., that I already mentioned. But then he says, this is page 74, you want to save the mortal realm? Then become someone Prythian listens to. Become vital. Become a weapon. Because there might be a day, Pharaoh, when only you stand between the King of Hybern and your human family, and you do not want to be unprepared. Mm-hmm. So he's, like, prepping her up to be this, like, pivotal person.
Yeah.
In the war. And she's like, I mean, I'm not anything.
Right.
Yeah. Around this time, too, there's a temple that's attacked.
Well, hang on a second.
Oh, snap.
You might be a little ahead of me here.
Okay.
I might have a quote to read real quick.
Let's find it.
It got real weird.
Is that anything new?
I mean, no.
A quote about the war?
No. It is about... Rhys is just, like, talking to Feyre about Tamlin and everything that happened in the Spring Court. And Rhys says, I will say this once and only once. You can be a pawn, be someone's reward, and spend the rest of your immortal life bowing and scraping and pretending you're less than him, than any of us. If you want to pick that road, then fine. A shame, but it's your choice. But I know you more than you realize, I think, and I don't believe for one damn minute that you're remotely fine with being a pretty trophy for someone who sat on his ass for nearly 50 years, then sat on his ass while you were shredded apart.
Yes, Reese. Big snaps. That's so true. He said all that we felt. I love the way
that he treats Feyre. Like,
I know. He starts giving her choices.
Yeah, he wants her to be a person, not just a doll.
Yeah, I mean, even when she arrives, he's like, you know, you have all the privileges of a house member. Like, you do whatever the hell you want while you're here. Yeah. And gives her the choice in everything that they end up doing. Which is, you know, a breath of fresh air for freaking Feyre with Tamlin's controlling nonsense. And it's gross. And I love that he captures my feelings in that quote. That was a good one because, my God. But there is an attack on a temple.
There is.
They mention a priestess temple, I think in the Night Court, Cesare or something. Cesere. Yep. And there's some priestesses slain. This is not the first time it happened.
No. I think this is the second time.
Yeah.
Yeah, makes you wonder what's going on there.
Yeah, they say they don't know who it is. But they're also talking about how King Highborn burned my Duor.
Yeah, but why would he be attacking the priestesses?
That's a good question.
I don't know.
Yeah. And then she hears the names Azriel and Cassian. Doesn't meet them yet. They explain winnowing.
They do. Which is wild to me.
It's wild.
They explain it like you have two things on a cloth and then you fold it together and you're over here. Yeah,
you're basically folding the realm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just like walking into another space by folding.
Crazy.
The time. I don't know.
Do you think you'd like to be able to do that?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
For sure. You know, it would make everything more convenient.
It really would.
Everything.
I could sleep in an extra hour to get to work.
I also feel like I would be just horribly, I don't know, stagnant, stationary.
Lazy, yeah.
Yeah, just like winnow from upstairs to downstairs. You know? It's too much power. I don't need that.
Fair, valid.
Winnow to the bathroom. Always in a sitting position.
Winnow into the bathroom and you're already on the toilet.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. I wouldn't get anything done. Or I would get a lot of things done, but I would be very unhealthy. Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
There's a lot of world building that starts to happen. She hears about the Illyrian warbands. Mm-hmm. Reese talks about them a little bit and how they're this like warrior race within the Night Court.
And they're arrogant bastards, he says.
Arrogant bastards.
Which, like, so are you,
yeah,
Reese.
I was like, Reese. Which I guess we realized later that it's connected.
Yeah.
But after this first visit, she finally goes home. And what does Tamlin do?
Well, Tamlin is Tamlin.
Yeah.
First of all, he says he won't let her go back.
Yeah.
Won't let her.
Right. As if
not that she wanted to be there, but
at this point. But it's also not his choice.
No.
And you don't get to. It's not like you're her parent, like giving her permission to do stuff.
Oh, I hate him so much.
Yeah, he's like pretends he's worried about her for a sec, like, oh gosh, are you okay? Are you injured? And she's like, I'm fucking fine. And then he starts interrogating her.
Yeah,
doesn't let her get settled in, doesn't let her do anything because he wants the information to be fresh in her mind.
Mm-hmm. And she says, while him and Lucian are, like interrogating her about the Night Court and everything she saw and everything she heard. And she says, I didn't realize I was a spy.
Yeah.
And then a little bit later, she says, this feels an awful lot like an interrogation. Like, she doesn't want to be telling them this.
No.
But
they're, you know,
they're pressuring
strategizing
her.
And stuff. Like, trying to gain information about the Night Court because nobody knows anything about it.
Yeah.
I think that quote that you read of Reese's, he says something about, like, you are no one's subject.
Mm-hmm.
That's a key one. And during this interrogation, she's giving them everything they want and also repeating to herself, you're no one's subject.
Yeah.
And it's like this dichotomy in battle within herself of, like, trying to defend Tamlin still as this protector, and so the information will help him to do so, but also, like, I'm being treated like a subject.
Yeah, and she's being treated like a pawn in a game of chess.
Yeah,
like,
it's disgusting.
Oh, I hate it.
I hate it
so much.
I know. This whole first part, I'm just, like, pissed.
Yeah, same.
But, yeah, so that all goes down.
Feyre also tells tells Tamlin that Rhys wants to train her.
Yeah.
And he says, something along the lines of, like, there's too many risks. And
Well, he doesn't want her to train because it'll put on the air that there's a conflict, is what he essentially mentions.
Yeah.
Like, the people will think they're not in peace anymore.
Yeah.
So she just has to sit on her little days and pretend everything's fine.
End of discussion.
Yeah. And,
Like, ugh.
He makes me so mad.
Me too. I hate him.
I hate him at this point.
I wonder if I felt the same way reading it the first time, or if I
felt icky about it the first time.
I definitely was like, ew, I don't really like him, but I don't know if it was such a, like,
loathe,
visceral hate.
Well, he's just given bad juju and controlling boyfriend and
abusive.
I mean, we talked about him being controlling in the last book, but it's just like on steroids now.
Yeah, absolutely.
He just won't let any room. Like she talks about her having been more free when she was a human and there were freaking Amarantha creatures all over the place.
Yeah.
Like, you let me go mess around and explore on my own when I was a human and could be killed easily.
Yeah, I caught a freaking cereal.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah. And it was casual, no big deal.
And now I'm powerful and I could probably, like,
I mean, they
take
won't train
care
her,
of myself.
So she, in
theory,
but
even without training, she's still, like, stronger and faster. And
that's true.
Has better senses than she did before.
Yeah. She's just untested, and she needs to learn how to be a fae. He's like, no, you don't need to do that. Just, be pretty. It's fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, then the tithe comes up.
Yeah.
Which, come on.
I hate it.
You have your own fortune of shit.
Yeah.
Is the tithe just like a power play?
Absolutely.
Like, look, I have control. I can take whatever I want from you.
Absolutely, that's what it is. It's to, like, keep order in the court so that...
Make sure everyone's subservient.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's just gross.
It is gross.
It's gross.
Disgusting.
They're, like, adorning Feyre and all these precious jewels, and they have all this glorious manner and crap, and then they're like, oh, all you lowly villagers must give me your last morsels of anything.
Right, and this... Mind you, is still only 3 months after
Yeah.
everything happened.
Everyone
Like,
must be fine
everyone
by
is
now.
struggling.
Yeah.
And you're just gonna make them... Ugh.
I know.
Ugh.
And Feyre thinks it's gross.
Yeah.
There's a water wraith that comes and is like, I don't have anything for you.
Yeah, she says that there's no more fish in the pond.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, that's what they would have used to pay. Because people don't have to pay money. They can pay...
Food.
Services or goods, not services, goods and, things like that.
Right.
There's no fish.
Yeah.
They can't even eat.
So there's literally nothing they can give.
Yeah, what are they supposed to do?
And he's like, well, sucks to suck. You still got to pay it.
Yeah.
And if you don't, you'll face consequences.
He says, yeah, you have to pay in some certain amount of time or you'll have to pay double at the next.
Yeah, the next tithe.
Next year.
Yeah. Is it every year?
I don't know if it's every year.
I don't know. It might be more often than that. I don't know, but maybe it's only a year. Regardless,
I don't know.
He just dismisses this water wraith, and Feyre's not cool. Like,
and Feyre even in front of the wraith asks him, like, just make an exception.
Yeah.
This one time, just make an exception.
Right.
And he's like, no.
Well, if I do that for her, then everyone will
do it
expect
for everyone.
it.
Yeah.
So Feyre takes it into her own hands and freaking runs out and gives her some jewels.
Yep. She's like, here, use this to pay.
And the water wraith's like, I'll never forget this.
Yeah, she says, I will not forget this kindness, nor will any of my sisters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Tamlin's pissed, though. Did we expect anything else?
Of course.
He's like, you freaking idiot. How dare you? Gets angry.
Feyre then, they're, like, arguing about her giving them the jewels.
Yeah.
And Feyre just does a little slippy slip into Lucian's mind.
Yeah. Her power starts showing.
Yeah.
So she slips into Lucian's mind and is like, what the dang heck?
What the dang heck?
How did I get here? Where am I? Realizes it's Lucian. Gets back into her body.
Well, yeah, because she's, like, seeing through his eyes, isn't she, at that point?
She becomes him.
Which is
that would be disorienting as hell. Yeah.
1 minute you're looking from over here, the next minute you're over here.
Yeah,
like,
you could, like, see yourself in the eyes of other people.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to do that.
I don't know.
Even watching myself in recordings, I'm like, that's awkward.
Same.
Or when you have to flip the videos to the book title, and I'm like, that's wrong.
Yeah, the inverted filter is the worst.
Even though that's literally how you...
Yeah.
Anyways.
Trippy.
But yeah, she does that, and she also leaves 2 freaking handprints on the table.
Burned handprints.
So we're seeing glimpses of mind hopping.
Yeah.
And fire, potentially.
And fire fingers.
Fire fingers. Just like a lighter, but it's your finger. You need a light? So yeah, Feyre's got something going on.
Well, yeah, and she like storms out of the room, tells Tamlin to get over himself, which, way to go, girl.
Yeah.
And storms out of the room and hides the freaking handprints under a napkin.
Yeah.
Because she doesn't want them to know.
Also, like when that napkin moves, though.
Right. Someone's going to clean that, you know?
Sitting there. And also, all the shit just disappears when they're done. So it'll be in a blink of an eye. I'm sure they'll know. Not that they would care, because she doesn't need a drain.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then she goes and confronts Tamlin after all that's said and done.
Yeah.
And he, like, acts like he's sorry. He starts to apologize.
Well,
but
he has a present for her, too, doesn't he?
Yeah. He tries to make it up with a
paint set.
Travel paint set.
It's been mentioned a few times now that Feyre can't paint anymore.
She can't paint.
Because
she can't
she's,
go
like,
into certain rooms
destroyed.
in the house. Yeah. And he's like, here's travel paint
Here's
set.
paint.
So you could go out into the wilderness. Even though he won't let her out of the house.
Go paint some trees, but you can't look at them.
Now that we're talking about it, I'm like, a travel paint set is like the most... It's such a freaking, like, dig.
Yeah.
Like,
it's like a slap in the face.
Yeah. Go ahead. Take a traveling paint kit, even though you can't freaking leave. Ugh.
I didn't even think about that while reading
neither.
it. Oh, my God.
That's so messed up.
I
mean, he either doesn't realize it, or he, like, you know, his actions are justified. So whatever.
Right,
you could travel to, I don't know, the dining room and paint.
Yeah.
Great.
So he gives her this paint set.
Yeah.
Apologizes, a half-assed apology, but then immediately tells her, like, no, sorry, you still can't come help us.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
You're not allowed.
I do really, in all of this, Feyre too is, like, sick of his shit.
Yeah.
She's like, you're suffocating me, and says, marry someone who can deal with it, essentially. Put up with this.
Yeah.
Because apparently that's not me.
Yeah. And then she explodes the whole room.
He does.
No, it's her.
Tamlin...
No, you're right.
He,
it's
like,
him.
in a rage, explodes.
But she throws up a freaking shield.
Another magical power.
Oh my God!
Holy crap! She's got a lot going on very quickly. It's like Rhys mentioned that she's, you know, super fast and super strong for a Fae, and talks about how, you know, she's a piece of all of the High Lords.
Yeah, she got a kernel of each of the 7 High Lords, so she got a little bit of each of their power.
Yeah, and after he mentions that, it just all starts surfacing. Yeah. Like, suddenly.
It's, like, awakened in her by him.
It's like, ooh, what'd you say?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do want to play freaking fire and mind stuff and a shield.
Yeah.
That Tamlin she thinks it's Tamlin who did it. Yeah. And then he comes up and tries to get through it, and he can't. And he's like, oh, sorry. Touching on the shield. I'm so sorry. Are you okay? After exploding the entire freaking room.
And then she lets him in.
To the
shield?
She
lets him into the shield.
Yeah, or drops it or something. Both.
Or something.
I don't know, whatever. Lets him in. And he apologizes. And then she, you know what? This was a callback to our last episode when you were like, lust, that's not even love. And they are both saying, like, or she's saying the only way we communicate is skin to skin.
Yeah.
I wrote that down.
I did too.
I was like,
ew.
You can't talk at all. Anytime you talk, Tamlin just talks over her.
Yeah, or they argue and get into this huge, literally explosive fight.
Literally. Room exploding.
Fingers. Fire fingers.
Fire fingers.
You know? Anytime oh my God. Anytime they talk, it's just like
it's so
either Feyre getting shut down or
yeah,
big argument, Feyre storming out.
I know.
But they can sure bang.
They can bang. Good for them, I guess.
I guess.
That's a healthy way of managing emotions.
Unhealthy relationship.
Yeah. Come on. And that's mentioned a couple times in this part.
Yeah.
But then Tamlin's gone again. He keeps leaving. He said he'll lessen the guards, so he has at this point.
He eases up a little bit.
Eases up a tiny bit. There's literally still guards everywhere, but they're not following her as closely.
Yeah, they're giving her a healthy distance.
And I'm sure they're still reporting back to good old Tampon.
I'm sure.
Freaking
good
fools.
Old Tam.
Yeah.
And then friggin' Reese comes back for Feyre again.
He comes back again.
Yeah. It's been a month, bitch. Come on.
Yay.
I know. Same. I do the feet kicky thing every time Reese shows up. I'm like,
it's so giddy. I just love it. He shows up and he's disrespectful as fuck to Tamlin.
Yeah.
Which, great, do it.
And Tamlin tries to threaten him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Come on, buddy.
I wrote down an interaction on page 105. Let's see what it's about. But yeah, he disrespects Tamlin in his own home, and I'm like, yes, queen.
Yeah.
Take him down a notch.
Tamlin, and then resorts to, when the threats don't work, he starts begging Reese. Yeah. Not begging, but he's like, don't take her. Yeah. I'll give you anything you want. And
yeah, I'll give you anything. And he says he has everything he needs.
Yeah, Reese says, response. I have everything I want.
Yeah, no thanks.
I was like, oh!
Yeah. And in this, he casually brushes a fleck of dust off Tamlin's shoulder, even though he's all angry. And he also hears in Feyre's mind, how if Tamlin were that close to her, she would have bleated in fear. And he says out loud, no, you wouldn't have.
Yeah.
He throws that in Tamlin's face. He essentially puts words to her thoughts, which I feel like, okay, Reese, that's a little bit of an overstep.
Yeah.
I understand you can hear her, but yeah. He says, last time Tamlin's teeth were near your throat, you slapped him across the face. And that pisses Tamlin off. He's like, shut your mouth and get out. Oh. And in this part, too, when he shows up, he's all worried about Feyre because she looks sickly.
Yeah.
She's all skinny and shit.
She is. She's I can't remember if I have this part written down or not. It must be later. Never mind.
After her first interaction, she's sent home with night court clothes.
Yeah.
And how they're different, show her midriff. Kind of scandalous.
Scandalous.
But also fun and flowy. And she puts them on again when Reese comes back, and they're hella loose.
Yeah, they don't fit her.
It's only
anymore.
been a month.
It's been a month, and she's already wasting away again.
Yeah, because, it's not a good home environment.
No, it's
real
unhealthy.
Bad. It's real bad. So then, she gets out of there with Mr. Reese, and he keeps, trying to get a reaction out of her. He keeps poking her because he's like, I haven't felt you. Mm-hmm. Even when your wall's up, I should be able to feel that you're there, and I haven't felt you.
Yeah. Oh my god, I love him so much.
Me too. I can't. But he starts poking and prodding and gets her mad, and she shows ice and fire power in that interaction.
Yeah, I wrote down for this little section that Reese is making her feel things again.
Yeah.
Which is she's been just coasting through numb. Mm-hmm. And he's making her feel.
I know. And I know that numb feeling well. And the fact that he's sort of breaking through that is huge for her. She needs someone to push her.
Yeah.
And Tamlin won't. He just pretends trauma never happened.
Yeah.
But he keeps asking for her help. She keeps denying him. And I think he's not there for much of it. But she talks about feeling just really alone. And it's a sad feeling. But it's more peaceful and calm in the night court. She's starting to feel that's a sense of haven. Even though she's alone, she's not being watched constantly and looked down on. And it's sort of a reprieve from being stuck in this suffocating house.
Yeah.
So at least there's that.
I wanted to say too, just another little, oh, I love Reese moment. When they first get back to his house, Feyre is pissed because she's angry.
Fair.
But she's like, don't you have better things to do than meddle in my life and come take me? And Reese says, I'll always make time for you.
I know. From the beginning, he starts to show a different side of him than has ever been portrayed to anyone outside of his court. But before she goes back home at that point, there's a quote on page 114, and she says, I realized I was in free fall with no end. I had been for a while, from the moment I stabbed the Fey youth in the heart. So she's just devoured by this grief and broken. Yeah. Stabbing them stabbed her equally, just like emotionally. You know what I mean? But
definitely dealing with some PTSD from that whole situation.
Right. But yeah, then she goes home and Tamlin is all sorts of angry because she was stolen away so suddenly, and more sentries.
Yeah.
He restocks.
He ups the sentries
again.
Restocks.
Back on the sentry. So immediately goes back on his word.
Broke his promise to her. Immediately.
Because he has no control when Rhys takes her.
Yeah.
He has no say in it and no control, and he's just a freaking man-child. I'll say it again.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she hasn't dealt with any of it, and Rhys just wants to help.
Yeah, and then she says, during that first week back, I wasn't allowed out of sight of the house.
Yeah.
I wasn't allowed.
Right. So the restrictions just keep getting tighter.
Yeah.
And
like, she can't even leave the friggin' front door.
Yeah, not allowed to leave. I think at one point in her time back, she gets claws, like in interaction with Lucien or something.
Yeah, Lucian's hair, like, triggers because he has red hair.
Because she thought it Amarantha.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
then shape-shifting.
Claws.
She's got claws all of a sudden.
That's got to have come from Tamlin.
Yeah.
I would imagine.
I don't want any part of that guy.
Yeah, take it back,
Get
bud.
rid of it. I guess Rhys can shapeshift. He showed her his wings in the last in ACOTAR.
Yeah, but I don't think that's so much shape-shifting as it is the...
Well, he said that everyone could do it to an extent. I'm pretty sure in ACOTAR. All the High Lords.
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. But he can shapeshift. But in a different sense, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. Regardless, she gets some freaking claws. And they're like, more magic.
Yeah, and Lucien is the only one who sees it, right?
Yeah.
Because, like, everyone is around at that point. Yanthe and Tamlin. But Lucian's the only one who sees the claws. And he's like, girl.
Sus.
Hide that.
And wants to train her because of it. He starts seeing all these things. Really wants to train her. Talks about, like, trying to convince Tamlin to let her train. And then, of course,
Feyre overhears Lucien, like, begging Tamlin to train her.
Yeah. He's, like, the only voice of reason in the house, but he doesn't fight hard enough.
Yeah. And, you know, Tamlin and Yanthe, whatever.
Priestess.
say, basically, like, it's too dangerous because if people know that she has these powers, the extra powers from the High Lords, then she'll be hunted and, like, kept prisoner, basically, to breed more powerful Fae.
Yeah.
Which is disgusting.
Yeah, she's property. She's not a Fae or a person anymore. Yeah, which is ridiculous. And
I hate it
I know.
So much.
It's really terrible. So then they leave again, and Tamlin locks her in the house.
Yeah, after she begs.
Right.
Begs
to go.
them
on
to
her
go
knees,
with them.
essentially. Like, please let me go, please. And she starts to walk out the door to follow them and hits an invisible wall.
Yeah. Freaking Tamlin.
I cannot with that. She goes to windows. She goes to all the doors.
Yeah, she's trapped.
Can you imagine how fucking panicked she is? She was trapped under a mountain.
Yeah,
as a prisoner.
He tapped into her most primal fear.
Yeah.
By trapping her.
Yeah, and didn't give two shits.
And
that
literally just turned around and was like, okay, bye, see you later.
Yeah.
And Lucien tells her, like, just be patient. I'm like, fuck you, Lucien.
Yeah, not at this
Why
point.
are you being so complicit to everything Tamlin says?
Well,
like,
he's his High Lord, and his word is
but
law.
You're your own person.
I know.
And I feel like Lucien is the only one who could even potentially talk Tamlin into, like, being a decent person.
Yeah. That moment is it obviously shows that, one, Tamlin knows nothing about her.
Yeah.
And two, does not care to know.
No.
Like, she is just his possession.
Yeah.
Locks her up. And, of course, that sparks, the utmost panic and rage.
Yeah.
And she starts magicking all over the place.
Magicking everywhere.
She's just magicking around.
Yeah.
An explosion of magic.
Explodes into, like, a just blackness.
All of the powers happening at once,
it
feels like.
Yeah.
And she hears Alice, like, screaming or something.
Yeah.
And it is gonna hurt everyone.
Yeah.
And so freaking Moore gets in.
Moore shows up.
Gets in, and the winnows are out of there.
Yep.
She said, Rhys knocked the the wall
the
down,
shield,
the shield
yeah.
down, but he couldn't come here because it would have been like an act of war, is what
Yeah.
they say. But yeah, Moore gets her out of there.
Alice tells Moore to take care of Feyre.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I love Alice so much.
I know. I mean, I'm sure Alice is seeing all this behavior too, and is like,
and there's
this
nothing
is not
she
right.
can do.
Yeah, she doesn't have a voice in any of this, but she sees Feyre not at all, like a shell of herself, and Tamlin just being a butt.
Yeah, that shows by, I mean, how much Alice cares about Feyre really shows. I mean, she didn't fight more at all.
No,
she was
wasn't
take her.
trying to send up sirens that she was being stolen.
Yeah.
She's like, yeah, please
take
her
her
out
and
of here.
take care of her, because Tamlin sure as hell isn't.
Not even close. Not even close. But yeah, they rescue her. They get her out of there, and I was like, yeah! Just want to start cheering.
Yeah.
Dancing.
Oh, and Tamlin says, I have to find this. Hang on. 1 second here. Circling back to before he puts the wall up, I believe. Feyre begging him to take her. He says, even if I risked it, your untrained abilities render your presence more of a liability than anything.
Weird.
Are you fucking kidding me, Tamlin?
Right.
She wouldn't be untrained if you would just train her.
Yeah, weird.
Like,
how that works.
That made me
It's so
mad.
disgusting. Like, something that that is a requirement of leaving the house, and yet he won't fulfill that requirement and uses it against her.
Yeah.
It's the
As
most
if it's her fault her abilities are untrained.
I know.
Ugh.
If she wouldn't even know what to do about any of it. She's not been Fae for more than 5 minutes. And she's all fucked up with all sorts of powers, and nobody's there to help her. Like,
and not
it's
only the powers, but her emotions and her brain are all fucked up. Like,
I know, and it's untrained. Like, yeah, sure, let's run with that. You know, training would cause red flags for the people, whatever, sure. It's bound to bite you in the ass.
Absolutely.
If you don't do something with, I don't know, 7 different freaking courts worth of power, of course it's going to come back and do something terrible. I'm so pissed.
Yeah, he caged her like a freaking animal at the zoo and expected her not to bite when he stuck his hand in. Like,
God.
I'm just
fuming. And I was during reading this too. I was like, you son of a...
When I read that line specifically, I literally, like, my blood was boiling. I was
mad.
So mad.
I feel like I'm more mad talking to you about it now. A third time. But yeah, he's just a piece of poo.
Yeah.
He's not good people. But yeah, they get there, and then they get to the Night Court. Rhys tells Feyre she can stay forever if she helps him.
Stay forever if you feel like
Actually, he says she could just stay forever,
yeah,
period.
He doesn't.
At one point, he's like, if you don't want to help me, that's fine. We can find you a life here.
Yeah, we'll figure something else out for you to do.
I'm
Which
in love
shows
with him.
his character. Like,
I know.
He doesn't care if she's going to give him anything or whatever.
Yeah.
He just wants to take care of her.
Mm-hmm. He just wants to be okay. I mean, every time he sees her, she's wasting away more and more. And so he says, they talk about her powers a little bit. They talk about winnowing and establish that. And she asked, like, if she could maybe do it. And he's like, I don't know. And
we'll find out.
Yeah. And then she asks if she can go with him because he has to go do something.
Yeah, he tells her, like, I'm leaving and I'll be gone until the end of the week.
Yeah, basically. She's like, please take me with you.
And she's like, can I please come?
Yeah, and sorry guys. That was weird. Anyway, he, is like, you need to rest. You're tired. She's like, I don't care. Like, I can't.
I need to not be alone.
I need to get out of here.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what we're doing.
I can't be trapped here.
Please take me. So he does.
Yeah, he says, we leave in 10 minutes.
He's like, great.
Wow.
Yeah, you want to come?
How freaking easy was that?
God.
Tamlin.
I know. And he's not just, like, casually going anywhere. He's going to his freaking beloved secret city.
Mm-hmm.
That nobody knows about.
Nobody.
Literally nobody knows about.
Except the people who live there.
Right. He's not only taking her with him, but it's to expose something so huge. He's like putting the utmost trust in her. I have a quote written down from this little section here.
Where he's like telling her, he says, if you come with me, there's no going back. You will not be allowed to speak of what you see to anyone outside of my court. Mm-hmm. Because if you do, people will die. My people will die.
Yeah.
So if you come, you will have to lie about it forever. If you return to the spring court, you cannot tell anyone there what you saw and who you meet and what you will witness. If you would rather not have that between you and your friends, then stay here.
Yeah.
He's giving her a choice.
Mm-hmm. He is. It just constantly letting her choose her own fate.
Yeah.
And also in that, though, it's like, do you betray your friends or do you stay here and not go? And she, like, battles with it a bit. Like, my friends, and then she's, what have they done for you?
Yeah.
What have they done? Absolutely
literally nothing.
And so
they
she
gave
goes.
your family wealth. That's all they did.
That's all. Sure, they saved your family, but it was also for selfish reasons because they were using you the entire fucking book in Akatar.
Yeah.
She was just
she was another friggin' pawn.
She's never had her own like free will in any of this situation because they've been puppeteering since day one.
Yeah. Well, and the whole goal in bringing her to Prithian was to make her fall in love with Tamlin. So what of any of that relationship is real?
Yeah.
Does he actually love her, or did he only fall in love with her because of the idea of her loving him?
And the idea of being cursed without the curse.
Yeah.
Curse free.
Yeah.
Curse broken. Felt like housebroken or something, which maybe he needs to be housebroken.
Maybe he does. But he is a beast after all.
Freaking wildebeest. But yeah, she, chooses this next adventure with Rhys over her captors.
And he brings her to freaking
Valaris.
City of Starlight.
Valaris. This is when me prefacing in the beginning of this episode, this was when I was like getting the warm fuzzies. Because I was like, oh my God. Like, I forgot how much I love this freaking place and the way that it's built up and described and the experiences they have here. Like, I just can't. I was like,
Valaris,
like so excited.
And literally any interaction between Feyre and Rhys, I'm like, oh.
Yeah, same. It starts getting more and more deep and sincere.
Yeah.
Like, they have a lot built between them.
Yeah.
But yeah, they go to the Valaris, and in just in a townhouse.
Yeah.
They get there.
Rhys's house.
Just a townhouse. It's Rhys's home.
Feyre says that it feels like a home that had been lived in and enjoyed and cherished.
Yeah.
Which I was
like, so cozy and
it's
lovely.
Cozy and comfy. It's home.
Yeah. And then the inner circle shows up. And he gives her the choice to stay and meet them or to go to sleep.
Yeah.
And she says, I'm going to go
sleep.
sleep.
She's like, I'm out.
Goodbye. I'm good.
These two obnoxious men on the other side of the door, and she's like, I don't have the energy for that right now.
Yeah, hell no. As
Absolutely
they're like,
not.
As they're teasing Rhys through the door, they can probably hear everything. They know she's there, and they're like, hey, you gonna open up, you idiot? And he's like, don't listen to them. Which I love immediately right off the bat, like how they interact with each other. Like, same. I just love this court. The inner circle. I want to be their friends and family. It's insane. But at some point before she goes upstairs, he mentions that Valaris has not been breached in 5,000 years.
5,000 years.
And she asks Nuala and Caradwyn about it. And they're like, that's not our story to tell.
Yeah, no, that's Rhys's story to tell.
Yeah. And she's like, did he ask you not to say anything? They're like, no.
Yeah.
They all have this respect for him.
Yeah.
Because he's hid in a city for 5,000 years. Well, maybe not him personally. Or he has. I don't remember how old he is. He's probably 5,000.
Yeah.
But yeah, she goes to sleep.
Yeah. She's like, okay, bye.
Yeah.
Good night.
And then they wake up and he takes her to see Valaris.
Yeah.
I want to go so bad.
I do too.
Can
we make it?
Find it? Does anyone know where it is? But her first impression, she walks out and like, holy shit.
Yeah.
It's huge.
And walking through Valaris too, it also shows that like people respect Rhys because like they're just walking and people are like, hey, what's up?
Yeah.
Hey, Rhys.
Hey.
How you been,
so
Rhys?
Glad you're back.
Yeah.
Like they are so happy to see him. They're all happy and well taken care of. Mm-hmm. And there's so much there. Like she's never seen
things.
A city.
Yeah.
Maybe since they had Fortune, her family.
Mm-hmm.
And there's shops. There's like places to eat. It's tons of townhouses. There's a lot of people there. She sees like a river and the sea and the mountains. Like it just sounds like this amazing place.
Yeah.
I'm obsessed.
And he takes her to the artist's quarter.
Mm-hmm. The Rainbow of Valaris.
Rainbow of Valaris.
Yeah.
He's like, if you ever want to.
And of course she's like.
Paint again.
Stabbed in the heart by that.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm not going to do that. Let's leave.
Yeah.
And when they're looking around too, he mentions the House of the Wind,
Mm-hmm.
which is his second home.
Yeah.
Up in a mountain. So she doesn't want to go any further once she sees the Rainbow of Valaris. And he tells her...
They're going to dinner tonight.
They are going to dinner tonight. But he also mentions that nobody knows Valaris exists at this point.
Yeah.
And nobody. And she's like, but how? Like, and
Yeah.
how are all these people here safe and protected while the rest suffered? And she's kind of pissed.
Yeah.
She's like, really? You didn't think to let anybody in and, like, save people? But yeah, she goes.
And she asks him, you know, like, what was it that was worth saving and putting above everyone else? And his response is just everything.
Yeah, and he's not wrong.
Yeah.
And at one point, she's like, he wasn't exaggerating. Like, everything's here, too.
Yeah.
But at one point when they're talking about, like, how everyone in Valaris is safe and happy and had survived the plague that was Martha, she starts wondering if it would have been better off to have died. Like, she has that thought. And Rhys hears it in their bond and says something, like, aggressively sweet. He's like, don't you ever think that again. Like, don't ever. And I was like... wanting to cry because I'm like, he's so concerned with her and wants to help her so bad. And
well, and it's clear that he cares about her, and it's like, not even just like a
it cuts him deep when she's saying that stuff about herself. Like, it hurts him also. I know.
I just love him.
He also throws out the word Demati, and how that is his kind of magic, like, can get into other people's minds.
Okay, but I'm gonna circle back to what I was saying.
Oh, yeah,
earlier.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
I didn't mean to sidetrack.
Rhys tells Feyre they're gonna have dinner with the inner circle tonight.
Yeah.
And they're gonna go up to the House of the Wind. And then he just casually slips in there somewhere in their conversation that he's the most powerful High Lord
to have ever existed.
In history.
Yeah,
which
I wrote that down too.
You're just gonna casually throw that out there, Rhys?
I know. Just no big deal.
No big deal.
It's fine. Which then makes me think back to ACOTAR and how the curse needed to be lifted from Tamlin for him to kill Martha. And I guess the killing of Martha broke the curse of everyone else. Never mind. Because I was like, why wouldn't Rhys be able to do it? But he didn't have a specialized curse that was tied to Feyre.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, so he's the most powerful ever. Just ever. They're Demati. She slips into his mind at some point, and he says something about, like, I guess the magic I gave you mistakes you for me.
Yeah.
So she can go past his wall, even though nobody else probably could.
Yeah.
And then on the way up there, he's like, thought for a thought, basically.
Yeah.
Like, tell me what's on your mind. What's good? And he tells her that he, you know, how he felt about being away from Valaris for 50 years.
Yeah.
And I want to read the quote that Feyre says.
Okay.
If you're good with that.
Yeah.
I wrote it down, the page number anyway, because I felt like it was just encapsulated so much of where she's at and where she's going. But it's on page 156, and she says, I'm thinking that I must have been a fool in love to allow myself to be shown so little of the Spring Court. I'm thinking that there's a great deal of that territory I was never allowed to see or hear about, and maybe I would have lived in ignorance forever like some pet. I'm thinking that I was a lonely, hopeless person, and I might have fallen in love with the first thing that showed me a hint of kindness and safety. And I'm thinking maybe he knew that, maybe not actively, but maybe he wanted to be that person for someone. And maybe that worked for who I was before. Maybe it doesn't work for who I am, what I am now. And I was like, you just encapsulated my entire feelings.
Absolutely.
Because, she, was desperate when she met Tamlin. And then he showed her this whole new magical world, protected her, but...
gave her pretty things.
And as we talked about, was just in it to break the curse initially. Yeah. And I feel like his love was built strictly off of that. Like, I love you for what you could mean for me in my future.
Which is so heartbreaking.
I know.
Ugh.
I know. But it doesn't suit her, who she is now.
Absolutely not.
And that quote.
I know.
I think it's like one of my faves ever now.
I had that one written down too.
Yeah.
Because, that one, it spoke to everything that I was thinking already.
I know. It's like you put it in such a beautiful way.
Such a beautiful quote.
I know. Okay, SJM. But then they get there. And he's like, well, shit, you told me 5 things. I'll owe you some. And Cassian and Az show up.
The Bat Boys.
The Bat Boys. God damn it, I love them.
I do too.
I love literally all of them. Okay, did you picture Cassian with short, shoulder-length black hair?
No, yeah.
You did?
Yeah.
Not once in my life. And I don't know, I'm sure that I read that and registered it the first time through, but he has not been that in my brain.
That's fair.
Through all of this.
That's fair.
Since I've read it and am now rereading.
I feel like a lot of the like fan art you see online is like short hair.
Yeah.
So it makes
that's just
sense.
not the vibe I got.
Yeah.
So anyway, I was like, excuse me? No, that's wrong.
That is not him.
Yes. But we learn a lot about all the characters.
Yeah.
All of the inner circle, as they're called.
Yeah. Do we want to go over all those facts? Because it's a lot.
We could spit some fast ones.
Yeah.
The general. So Cassian leads the armies.
Yeah. Asriel is the Shadow Singer.
Yeah, he's like their
Shadow
spy.
Boy.
He's their spy
Yeah,
master.
the spy master.
Because we learn that a Shadow Singer can like see and feel things others can't, or something to that effect. We learn a lot.
We learn about Amarin.
Otherworldly.
And how she's like some weird creature who looks fey but is not.
Yeah, and she's got silver eyes.
Yeah.
And Feyre wanted to run when she saw her.
Yeah.
Just like the vibe she gets
instinct,
off.
yeah.
And Rhys alludes to the fact that Amarin's more powerful than him, is like hella ancient. Like she's something scary.
Feyre says, I knew in my bones she wasn't high fae.
Yeah,
like,
she's something else.
Yeah.
So she's someone borrowing a fae body. More born into the Court of Nightmares and got out. Oh, we learned that the Night Court is separated into...
Oh, yeah, the Hewn City and...
Right. The Hewn City is like the people who are putting up with him being a half-breed lord, but don't actually really want to be with him. So he like lets them have their own thing.
Yeah.
And that's the Court of Nightmares in the Hewn City.
Mm-hmm.
And then their court is the Court of Dreams. It's so dreamy.
I love it so much.
Yes, I know. I cannot with it.
So Cassian and Asriel are Illyrian.
They are. They're not high fae. They wear siphons that like harness their magic. We learned how the three of them met, Rhys, Cassian, Asriel. How they all were in Illyrian war camp trained.
Yeah, and Rhys is half Illyrian.
Yeah. They're all bastards in some capacity.
We learned that Mor is the only pure-blooded fae in the inner circle.
Yeah, there's a lot gleaned from this chapter, and you really start to get to know the inner circle, and I'm just obsessed with them and love them so much.
Me too.
And all of the boys, the bad boys, hated each other at first, like they were rivals, and then they banded together after their, horrible background and story.
Yeah, Rhys and Cassian like fought a lot as kids and like but then Rhys just one day like went and took him and moved him into his house with his mom.
Yeah, the Illyrians are like brutal.
They're
and don't
horrible.
give a shit.
Yeah.
They just cast out the bastards into the elements.
Yeah.
Don't give them any help. So Rhys took him in.
They also treat women like shit.
Yeah.
I just want to delve into that a little bit real quick.
I know.
Women, like when they have their first bleeding, their wings are clipped.
Yeah.
So that they
can't fly.
Can't fly, and they can just be kept for like breeding.
Yeah. Yeah. So misogyny again.
Masochism.
Masochism. But yeah, we learn a whole lot about the inner circle, how they came to be, all in his court, because the three of the dudes allied eventually and started showing that they were hella powerful,
super powerful.
So much so that Rhys's dad like separated them in the war in hopes that they would die off and not have each other, I guess. But then Rhys becomes High Lord and makes them all his court, essentially. There's some random tidbits that you get questioned about.
There is. We learned a little tiny bit about Rhys's parents.
Yeah.
During that whole thing, but I don't know how important that is.
Yeah. I mean, it's sad. I mean, his mom was going to be clipped. She was Illyrian.
Yeah.
And then
she was like on the friggin'
road
podium
on the way to get
snipped. And Dad winnowed in and saw, and like
the mating
bond snapped into place.
Yeah, he saved her.
And it says that he misted all of the warriors.
Misted.
And Feyre's like, what is misted?
Yeah,
and he explodes a lemon.
Suspicious. Yeah. So now we know that Rhys can mist people and things. That's intense.
Can
Mr.
he,
Hot. Yeah.
Oh yeah, because he did the lemon.
Yeah. Yeah. And they said that like all the Illyrian people in the camp were afraid of him because they knew that he could mist them if he wanted to.
Yeah.
And yeah, we learned about all that, but his parents weren't right for each other, and there was a lot of tension there.
Yeah.
And we find out that none of the inner circle were under the mountain.
Yeah, they've all been
here protecting the land.
Valaris.
And then some random names are dropped. Miriam and Drakon. Drakon.
Drakon. I don't know.
Sounds like something you'd name a dragon.
Yeah.
And there's some hinting that Miriam was giving a long life, so maybe immortality.
Yeah.
Amren talks to Faerun at one point and is like, there's 2 of us now. And Faerun's like, the hell do you mean? And she's like, well,
2 of us that were made.
Yeah. Okay. Got that in common. Yeah. What else? There's a lot that goes down here. I think we got just about there. Oh, and then at one point, Cassian wants to train Feyre.
Yeah. Is that... Yeah.
Cassian wants to train Feyre, and Moore says some, like, powerful stuff. Feyre's like, can I think about it? And Moore is like, okay, 1, like, you're a boss bitch, essentially. And, like, don't let anyone control you, is essentially what she's getting at. Because Feyre's still this broken child. Yeah. And Moore's like, you're amazing.
Little of herself.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then Feyre just, like, drops a bomb and says, all right, I'll work with you, Rhys.
Yeah. She says, I agree.
Yeah.
Let's do it. I want to be on your team.
Yeah.
Who wouldn't?
Really,
Shit.
though. I'll be on his team any
They're
day.
also, like, informal with each other and joking around. Like, it feels like a family more than a court.
Yeah.
At least of the court she's seen, you know. Yeah. Agrees to help. There's some mention of how the King of Hybern wants to resurrect Jurian for the war.
Which... Why do you... Why? I don't...
What's that about?
He's just a human.
Yeah. Why?
Why?
I don't know if it's like a statement piece.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, I have so much power that I'm resurrecting the guy who tried to kill all the Fae for the people.
Right.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
I don't know, but that's weird. And we do know that the eye and bone were missing. So, like,
they disappeared.
That's scary.
And they never caught the, Ator either.
Yeah, the Ator's still out there.
So.
Yeah. And then they learn they need to go see the bone carver.
They gotta go see the bone carver.
The bone carver.
Oh, and it's mentioned that all of these temple raids that have been going on have something to do with the King of Hybern.
Yeah.
We don't know what yet, but
right.
We gotta go see the bone carver to find out.
And Rhys is like, I'll give you the choice to go or not. And Fair's like, how bad can it be? And Cassian's like, real bad.
Yeah.
So they end up...
Was it Amren? No, Moore, like, refuses to go.
Amren refuses to go to the
Amren.
prison.
You're right.
Yeah, because she was
Came
prisoner.
from there.
Yeah, which, like, fair. So I think they make one attempt to go to the prison, and Feyre can't do it.
Yeah. They go, and they, like, make it all the way to the outside, and then she's like, I gotta go, and Rhys is like, all right.
Yeah.
You have a choice.
Yeah, I guess that's fine. As soon as she tells him, he winnows her back, and it's no big thing. And I think he mentioned some stuff about...
Oh, hang on. Before all of this, I just want to circle back because I have a quote I want to read.
Yeah.
Again, it's a Feyre and Rhys quote, of course.
Obviously. Why wouldn't it be?
So after the dinner, they, like, go home and whatever and go to sleep, and Feyre wakes up having a bad dream again.
Yeah.
Again, because that's all she ever does anymore.
Poor Feyre.
Poor Feyre. And Rhys comes in and wakes her up. And she says... She hears him yelling her name, basically. And she says, the voice was at once the night and the dawn and the stars and the earth, and every inch of my body calmed at the primal dominance in it. And I was like, oh, baby! Ooh,
damn straight baby. He is, Mr. Most Powerful High Lord ever.
And then... she runs into the bathroom and starts puking, and he comes and holds her hair back for her.
And is like scratch her back.
Oh.
He's like just there for her always in their interactions.
I just love him.
I do too.
Okay, continue.
Yeah, so
sorry.
It's okay. They had a failed attempt at the bone carver, and then Amren gives her an amulet.
Yeah, and
says,
back. She says, this got me out of the prison. Wear it in and they can never keep you.
Yeah. This prison sounds uncool.
It really does.
It sounds terrifying.
It sounds a lot like going back under the mountain.
Yeah.
Because they're literally going
well,
under
that's why
the mountain.
she left the first time.
Yeah.
She was like, nope, not
Can't
doing
do
that
it.
again. And the prison is tied to Reason's court and his blood.
Yeah.
Like, he's the only one who can go in, I think.
Yeah.
Of the High Lords, at least. But he can't free any prisoners. So he's very intentional with his sentencing.
Yeah, and when they get there, Feyre asks where the guards are, and he says something along the lines of, like, they dwell in the rocks and only come out at feeding time.
Yeah, that's scary. So they go in. This is a wild time in the book. It's wild.
It is. And Feyre describes it as like they're walking down. They're going.
Yeah.
They're going.
Yeah.
And Feyre's like, I don't know if it's been hours or days.
Yeah, it's disorienting. You can, like, hear people whispering behind the rock and stuff. But
there's no doors.
It's just never-ending tunnel.
Yeah.
And they get to Sir Bonecarver's door. And she had asked him, like, what's with the name? You know, what the fuck's that about?
And he's
like,
says,
you'll find out. And sure enough, like, the arch over the Bonecarver's door is bone carved.
Yeah.
It's in the name, guys. It's in the name. And...
Oh, before we get into the bone carver, 1 second. While they're walking down, they're, like, chatting, and Feyre's, like, asking about Amryn and her imprisonment, and Rhys tells her, like, that they have no records of how long she was in prison, so it, like, predates all of their written word, which is wild.
I know. The prison itself predates Valaris and Prythian. Like, the prison is older than everything.
Yeah.
And as is Amryn. And she asked, like, you know, where's she from? And they talk about her and probably other people in the prison who, like, aren't from here. And they're trying to find their way back to somewhere.
Yeah.
Which, what the heck?
I know.
That's intense.
And then Feyre's like, we've got to be there by now. What the heck?
Yeah, jeez.
We've got to be under the friggin'...
Yeah. And he's like, oh, you know, he's under the prison.
Yeah,
the entire
he says
thing.
the bone carver is... His cell is, like, under the roots of the mountain.
Right.
Which is...
That's far. That's a long way.
That's far.
No thanks. That sounds claustrophobic.
It really does.
Yep. So they talk to good old bone carver.
Mm-hmm.
And Feyre sees a 8-year-old little boy with black hair and blue eyes.
Yep.
And Rhys sees Jurian, which we don't find out to the end of the action. But nonetheless, that's what they're looking at.
Yeah.
And
which the whole Jurian thing is wild to me.
That he just knew.
How did he know that that's why they were coming?
I mean, this guy seems...
I mean, he knows everything. It seems like, but still kind of just creepy.
It's eerie.
Like, he knew they were coming before they even knew they were coming.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I imagine that whatever form he takes happens, like, the instant you see him. So I'm sure he wasn't, like, waiting around as Jurian. But he's, like, he somehow, like, gets into their head and can inform what they... need to see.
It's so uncomfortable.
Yeah, that's a lot. The bone carver makes me uncomfortable. Yeah. And his whole shtick is like, you know, you tell me something and I'll tell you something. Like, you have to give up information about yourself if you want to know anything.
Yeah.
And so, of course, through all of this, poor Feyre's like just diving through her trauma. Mm-hmm. He asks her a lot about death and like what she Why is he asking about if there's a portal at the end of death?
Probably because he's trying to get back to somewhere.
Yeah. He's like, what if I off myself? Can I get home?
Yeah.
Or am I just gone?
Yeah.
That's probably what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she has to relive her whole experience of having died. Yeah. And the only bit of information, which I was laughing about, that Rhys gave up was like, my knee hurts sometimes.
That made me giggle.
It's like, I got a bum knee, but no big deal. But the bone carver tells them a lot.
He does. He does indeed.
They ask him about lots of things. They ask him, they want to know, you know, about the Kingdom of Hybern. They want to know how you could resurrect somebody.
Yeah, or if it's possible to resurrect somebody with just a
bone and an eyeball. And I think his question is like the soul preserved?
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, that creepy ass eyeball ring looks round.
Yeah.
What?
Nothing. There was something I wanted to talk about, but I'm tired of backtracking.
Oh, we can talk about it. It's okay.
So, gosh, where was that? The bone carver asks, this is like literally backtracking a lot, but he's asking Feyre about when she died.
Mm-hmm.
And I just have a quote that I want to read real quick.
What's that like?
So, Feyre says, I heard the crack when she broke my neck. It was in my ears, but also inside my skull. I was gone before I felt anything more than the first flash of pain. And then it was dark, a different sort of dark than this place. But there was a thread, a tether, and I yanked on it, and suddenly I could see. Not through my eyes, but his. And I knew I was dead, and this tiny scrap of spirit was all that was left of me, clinging to the thread of our bargain. And when I was made anew, I followed that bond back to me. I knew that home was on the other end of it. There was light then, like swimming up through sparkling wine. And basically the bone carver's like, were you afraid? And she's like, well, no, because I was kind of planning on killing myself anyways if the third person hadn't been Tamlin.
Yeah.
And she notes that there's like devastation on Rhys's face.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I just wanted to note that.
Yeah. I know. She's mentioned often herself multiple times so far. But yeah, if it hadn't been Tamlin, she would have. And of course, Rhys is torn up. Yeah. I mean, I think seeing her being just sort of wasting away keeps hurting him. And then to hear her say that kind of thing. I mean, he aggressively said, don't ever think that. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, yeah he's hurt by it. For some reason.
It just, oh.
I know.
Okay, sorry.
No, that's okay. That's a good quote. He tells them a lot of things. He tells them about the cauldron.
Yes.
And how all magic comes from it.
Yeah.
Had come from it.
Yeah. And then it was, like, hidden at the bottom of a lake.
And all its feeties were taken off.
3 of them. Not all of them. Only 3 of them.
And
they were hidden.
But... One, the cauldron disappeared. It's not in the location that he said it was.
Yeah.
Dumped.
Well, no, because he said that if the cauldron is missing, then I think you know who has it. Or something like that.
Yeah, he just mentioned like where they put it originally and how it's not there anymore. And it's probably with so-and-so. So, you know who. And the 3 feet were spread around. He talks about the Book of Breathing.
Mm-hmm. Which is a spell book that... can like negate the power of the cauldron, basically.
Yeah. And how it's in 2 halves.
It's split in 2. The Fae have half of it, and it's confirmed by the bone carver or whatever that the Summer Court has the Fae half, and then the other half is with the human queens.
Right.
6 of them.
Yep.
I think 6.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that it is revealed that the feet were at the temples, and that's why they were attacked. Yeah. So those have been retrieved. The cauldron and the feet are reunited.
It's assumed, anyways.
Assumed.
I mean, if they found the feet at the temples, you don't know. Yeah. We don't know.
I think that's where they were meant to be, but yeah.
And he also says that the human half of the Book of Breathings has to be given willingly, so like they can't just go and steal it from the humans, or it'll melt.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay,
that's ridiculous. Surefire way to make sure it stays with them, I guess, because nobody's trying to melt the thing that stops the cauldron.
Right.
Yeah. Lots uncovered there.
Yeah.
And the bone carver's a creep.
Yeah.
And all of
I
that.
don't like him.
It gives me the willies.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to be there. I wouldn't want to go in that prison at all.
What do you think you would see?
If I looked at the bone carver? I don't know. Depends on my question. What would you see?
Okay, but like Feyre didn't have a question about an 8-year-old boy.
That's true. I can't say anything more about that. I just can't.
I guess maybe I think I know where your brain's at. Never mind.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think that he shows you whatever he thinks you need to see.
Yeah.
But what does that mean for Feyre? Who knows? Weird imagery.
Yeah.
Bone carver. But yeah, then after all that goes down, which was a lot, they go back and like debrief the inner circle.
Yeah.
And they want to just charge right in to Hybern. They want to go in and fuck them up.
Yeah.
Or at least do it in a way that they can get the cauldron without much notice and leave. And Rhys is like, nah, dog. We got to figure out what we're going to do.
We got to make a plan.
Just go in.
Yeah, you can't just go in all willy-nilly.
Right. That, and we got to, he has this idea that Feyre would be able to sense the Book of Breathing because it can only be wielded by someone who is made.
Yeah.
And so there'd be like some sort of
pull. Yeah.
And so he wants to test that theory.
How we gonna test that theory? We're gonna take Feyre to the Weaver.
The Weaver.
Ugh, the Weaver gives me the willies.
Same though. Ugh. I cannot. It's like it gives me very much like Hansel and Gretel or like some weird mysterious nursery rhyme that's really dark and you don't realize it.
Yeah, for real though.
Like she's just tucked away in this freaking neutral territory. Like nobody rules there.
Yeah.
And she's creepy as hell.
Yeah. She's ancient and...
Ancient. She is basically the ruler of the land.
Yeah. Rhys says that she has, like, an item that he lost.
Yeah.
And he wants to see if Feyre can...
retrieve it.
Find it.
Yeah. By being pulled by his magic.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he wants to test her.
So, yeah.
This whole situation, I'm like, God damn, Rhys, you had a lot of trust in, like, her ability to... figured out.
Yeah, and the inner circle is like, are you sure about that?
Yeah, that
like
sounds
you might there's other ways we can test this.
Yeah. It certainly doesn't have to be this.
No.
But he's like, no, it's fine. It's great. Don't worry about it. Let's go.
This is the only way.
It'll be really fun. Casual.
Yeah.
And it's horrifying. Feyre, like, describes her whole house as this trap that would lure in people or fae at this point since no mortals lived there. And she goes in... Well, I think Rhys tells her that the Weaver's blind. So she won't be able to see her.
Yeah. I don't know if he does tell her. If she just... No. I think he does. I think you're right.
I feel like she knows she's got to just be super stealthy and try to stay out of the way.
Yeah, and he tells her, like, don't touch anything except for the one item that you're going in there for.
Yeah.
If you touch anything else, then...
It'll alarm her.
She's gonna know that you're there.
Yeah. And so, Feyre sneaks on in.
She goes in.
And it's, like, horrible, the scene. She has all these trinkets. She's a hoarder of weird items. And also suspicious yarns.
Creepy.
Yeah.
Well, and she's...
Stinky.
She's spinning today. She's not weaving.
And she's singing a really ominous song.
Yeah.
She's just, like, merrily singing about death or something.
Yeah. The song really was
the whole vibe's
uncomfortable.
Off. It's not a good vibe, And Feyre's doing her best to sneak around. And she's like, what the hell am I supposed to be, feeling here?
Yeah, I wonder if the Weaver is a good singer, if she's over there like,
or she's like, yeah. I feel like yours matches her more, maybe. I don't envision her being a performer. But maybe she is. Maybe. Or, I bet... It has to sound good so she can lure people into it. It's got to sound like a nice merry tune, even though it's talking about like murder and stuff. But yeah, she's like, what am I supposed to be feeling? She starts looking around.
She's like just peering around, seeing if she feels anything.
Yeah, and then suddenly feels...
Well, no, she's like, this is bullshit. I'm gonna go. Yeah. And then all of a sudden the ring is like, hello. Tap, tap, tap on the shoulder.
Hello, I'm over here. Come find me.
I've been lost. Where have you been?
Yeah, and she says something like, I am Rhys's magic, so I won't be detected because the ring's here or whatever. And she finds the ring, and then as soon as she grabs it...
The Weaver stops singing.
She's
like, Lord.
That was a perfect reenactment.
Oh, I should have said, death.
Yep, she stops singing. Her lovely song is over. And she slowly stops spinning, too. And is like, who's in my house?
And Feyre's just trying to, like, creep out.
Yeah, she's like,
I'm on tiptoe out of here.
I'm gonna go.
She can't see me, so I'm just gonna go.
Yeah.
And she says she's, like, 2 steps away from the door, and the Weaver slams the door with her Weaver magic.
And it locks.
Locks it. All the windows are locked.
She's now again trapped.
Poor girl.
Poor Feyre. She just keeps getting dug in.
She's got a rough life.
She sure does.
I give her a hard time for like being dumb. And, But man,
she really goes through it.
She really does.
There's no grace given for good old Feyre. But her whole thing to get out, because the Weaver's like, I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna eat you.
I'm gonna get you.
Come here. Is to go up the chimney.
Yeah.
That was a decision. Well, first she throws a candle at all of the human yarn.
The yarn.
It's human.
Yeah.
It's like skin.
It's for sure
skin yarn.
Human hair and
shit. And the Weaver's creepy as shit. Her body and her hands look pretty, and then she sees her face, and it's like decrepit, and her eyes are sunken in.
Yeah, she's up in the chimney, and the Weaver's like, hey!
Looking up the hole with her, like, nubs of teeth. And I'm like, what's the whole shtick there, Weaver?
I know.
Like, are you eating people to give you beauty and youth?
Yeah, I don't know.
Because why is half of your body cute?
She needs some more human.
Yeah, or Faye. I don't know. She might be eating everybody.
Yeah, and Feyre says that the, like...
Sorry. It's okay.
I hope you don't mind me touching your knee.
I don't at all.
The chimney is, like, coated in fat and grease.
Fat. And then, yeah. And then the Weaver starts coming for her up the chimney. She gets stuck.
Feyre gets stuck.
And the Weaver's
broad shoulders.
Yeah. Frickin', you're too big now as a Fae. Come on. Get small. And
like, haven't you lost a bunch of weight? That chimney must be small.
It must be tight. Which, why'd you choose that? Nonetheless, I guess there's no other way out.
No other option. Yeah. Break a window.
Yeah. But then Feyre's like, oh yeah, I'm Fae. I completely forgot.
I'm strong.
He just starts punching shit.
Yeah, she's like punching the chimney and raining debris down on the Weaver.
And the Weaver's like, ah! As Feyre starts punching her way out.
Yeah, and then she gets a whole brick, doesn't she?
Yeah,
and just chucks it at the Weaver's face.
And she starts, like, spitting blood.
Yeah.
Black blood. Black blood. She starts spitting black blood.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway.
Check out our TikTok if you want to hear all of our theories.
Yeah. Yep. So that's interesting. And it stops her, you know. And Feyre gets up and the roof is hair.
Yeah, and it's all sticking to her because she's... Okay, I just have to say, for those of you who don't know us, I'm a hairstylist.
Yeah.
And so I'm, like, constantly covered in other people's hair. That's horrifying.
Yeah.
The hair is all sticking to her because she's coated in human fat grease.
Yeah, I can't with all of that.
My God.
I know. It's like being tarred and feathered.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But with human bits. Yeah, it's terrible. But she escapes. So, silver lining.
She's like, I can't go down on the ground or she'll catch me.
No, she's gonna get me.
So she just hops through the trees like a freaking spider monkey.
Monkeying around and finds Rhys and is like, what the fuck?
Rhys is just like, hey.
He's like, oh, hey. I was wondering when you'd get here.
You did it.
He's like, what'd you do? Because the Weaver starts screaming.
Yeah.
He hears her banshee yelling. And he's like, what happened? And Feyre's like, you piece of... You weren't going to help me? But then they went away immediately.
Yeah. Well, and he's like, I couldn't help you, or she would have sensed me.
Yeah.
Oh, and it was... I don't remember if we talked about this 5 minutes ago or not, because I'm a goldfish. But,
that's awesome.
Rhys basically tells her, like, no High Lords can interfere with the Weaver. Yeah. So, like, I can't go get my own things. Right. You have to do it.
She has some weird protection.
Yeah.
So... Because she's evil.
He couldn't come help her because then she would have sensed him and shit would have went down.
Yeah, he was like at the distance so she couldn't sense him.
Yeah.
But they went back and yeah, well, you know, Feyre's disgusting.
Covered in human fat and hair.
Yeah, and everyone in the inner circle's like, you're really gross.
Go take a shower,
sick.
Bitch.
Amryn notice cleans her up with a snap.
Yeah.
Like, Amryn just waves her power around. Like, no big deal.
Yeah, but she still her clothes are still covered or something like that because she's like, I have to take a bath.
I'm sure just the feeling of having been, even if you were just magically cleaned, like, I'd want to scrub my body too.
But Rhys won't let her just go take a bath.
No.
He's like, you gotta get into my brain.
Get into my brain. Do it. Do it now. And what does he show her?
He shows her a memory.
All about
him and the friggin' bitch.
Good old Dianthe.
The
pick whichever one you want. The priestess.
Yeah.
And how she was throwing herself at him, trying to like wiggle her way into his court.
Trying to wiggle something.
Yeah. More than one thing, that's for sure. She's naked in this memory, like opening herself up. Yeah, it's a whole thing. And
it's gross.
And Rhys is like, you're disgusting. Get out of here. I want nothing to do with you. Yeah. And she tries to grab him. Grab him by the, you know. And he's like, nope, I'm good.
In the no-no square.
No-no square. He throws her out on her ass.
Yeah.
So it's this whole, like, painting picture of the priestesses, like, vying for power.
Yeah.
Because she's like, let's breed. I want to have your babies.
Yeah.
Put them in me, Reese. And he's like, no, thanks. I'm good on all that.
Yeah, which makes me question, and I think it made Feyre question, too, like, now that she's gone from Spring Court.
What's she doing to Lucian?
Is she doing the same thing to Lucian or to Tamlin?
Yeah.
Because Tamlin's the High Lord.
I know. I do think Feyre mentions, like, Lucian, and she's like, oh, okay, this is why he
That's why he hates her, yeah.
Yeah, because she's
a hoe.
giving it out to make freaking High Lord babies.
Yeah.
She wants a piece of that. And yeah, she worries about that. Reese mentions that the ring that she found in the Weavers is his mother's ring, and how the mother left it with the Weaver because she didn't want him to waste it. Yeah, is what he says.
Which is like,
what's that about? Interesting. Yeah. So then, after all that's said and done, Feyre's no longer covered in human grease and hair. They start preparing to go. We didn't mention this, but they want to use Feyre's family's manor as like a meeting ground for Feyre and for them and the queens.
Yeah, and I forgot to mention earlier, I don't even, like, this was so randomly thrown in there, but Reese makes Feyre, like, the emissary for the Night Court.
So she's got
to the human realm or something like that. Like, he gives her some title. And then is like, I'm going to pay you, by the way. Oh, yeah. I have a bank account for you already.
I set up an account. Yeah. Yeah, and if you don't have enough in your own account, just charge it.
They'll charge it to the house.
And she's like, okay. And asks how much she's going to be making. And he's like, oh, as much as everyone else. And she just imagines that's going to be silly.
Yeah.
Freaking Reese.
I can't believe I forgot to mention that. It was such a random, like, they were just in the middle of a random conversation. He's all, oh, by the way,
you got money.
You want to be the human emissary for the Night Court? Yeah. I was like, what?
Yeah. That's
and she's just like, okay.
Yeah, cool. Sure. Fine. Sounds good. I mean, she's already agreed to help him. Why not put a title on it?
I guess.
Yeah. So after the Weaver incident, they start prepping to go to the human lands. Yeah. To talk to Feyre's family and try to set up their house as this, like, neutral ground. Yeah. And during all of this, Moore tells a little bit about her background with the Court of Nightmares and how once she came into her powers, they essentially wanted to sell her off to the highest bidder.
Yeah, because
she was extra strong.
Yeah, she was born stronger than anyone in her family.
Yeah.
And so once that power showed.
Yeah. Another arranged marriage for Powie.
Powie.
So she said no thanks. And then before they leave, Feyre has to decide who she wants to fly with. And she picks good ol' Az.
She picks Az because Reese is, like, helping her get into, like, put a weapons belt on her or something, and he, like, touches her thigh. Mm-hmm. And she's like, I'm gonna fly with Az.
Yeah. Well, he put that weapons belt on her for the Weaver, too, because he's like, you can't have a bow and arrow. You can only have knives or something. Yeah. And strapped her up. Yeah. Yeah, he's getting a little bit saucy. He's flirting with her. He's also flirting with her to make her angry so she feels stuff. But they're starting to have moments. But yeah, she's like, I'll go with Az. Yeah. You're getting a little too close for comfort there, good old Daddy Reese.
It's making me feel things.
Yeah. I don't want to feel things. And she flies with Az, and I noted this because it made me laugh. When they hit the wall, they have this whole conversation about how Spring is close to the wall, so they have to go around the coast. Yeah. But when they get to the wall, there's a metal tang.
Thank you! I noted that, too, because I was like, Faye wouldn't notice a metal tang, but they do.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah. All right. We had a whole debate about it.
We had a meme on freaking the Tickies about it, too. It was just from the podcast. But nonetheless, yeah, that happens. And also, Feyre and Az, like, share a moment in this flight. Uh-huh. I marked the page. Let me look real quick. But he's, like, so quiet and calming, and I love Asriel. I literally just love all of them.
I do, too. But the entire inner circle is my favorite.
Yes. And when she says she wants to fly with him, he's like, well, yeah, of course. He doesn't put up a fight. He's like, let's just go. And he's so calm and reassuring all the time. But maybe that's the wrong page. I'm sorry. I hate when I take forever to do something.
It's okay.
It's the right one.
I think that the whole inner circle, like, cares about Feyre in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they don't know each other all that well yet, but I think that they can probably see that, like, Rhys cares, and so they're like, okay.
Yeah.
We care about you too, I guess.
Yeah. That quote's not at all about Az.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Before they leave, Moore says she's not going.
Yeah.
And I liked this quote, so I'm going to say it anyway, but it's not related to flying with Azriel.
Okay.
Sorry about that. They're, like, dressing up Feyre to go and leave. And Moore, she says at some point, Feyre's like, you're not coming, but I would like my sisters to meet you.
Yeah.
At some point. She's like, I'd really like them to meet you. And she says, I want them to hear your story and know that there is a special strength in enduring such dark trials and hardships and still remaining warm and kind, still willing to trust and reach out. And I was like, that's so sweet. Yeah. That she gleamed this much about Moore. Like, she already trusts Moore. Yeah. Talks about how she hasn't had a female friend, but Moore is, like, becoming that. Like, yeah. She really sees strength in Moore, and she doesn't even know Moore's whole story.
I had noted earlier, I didn't read it because I was like, this is not important, but yeah. It pertains to this. Feyre saying that, like, Moore could be my first ever female friend. And that was, like, sad, but also made me think, because Feyre was pretty attached to Yanthe at the Spring Court. Like, did she not think she was her friend?
I think she comments on that a little bit. Like, Yanthe was the closest thing, but it was still not quite that. Like, okay. She makes some mention of it. And yeah. Moore's better, obviously.
Absolutely. Anyone's better than that bitch.
Yeah, yeah. But anyway, they're flying.
Yeah.
And then they winnow through the wall. They find the hole. Uh-huh. And Feyre's like, how the heck did you see that? Because I sure didn't. Yeah. And they make their way in. And they go to the family estate. And Feyre goes and knocks on the door. She's like, knock, knock.
Well, everyone else is hiding. She's like, I better do this by myself. Yeah.
You should probably, keep your weird bat boy wings over there for a second while I test the water here. Because her family doesn't know she's Fae.
Yeah, no.
No.
They don't know yet.
They don't know anything about what happened.
They're about to find out.
Yeah.
So...
Knock, knock, knock.
Knock, knock.
Yeah. And it's...
Friggin' housekeeper opens the door.
Mrs. Laurent.
And she's like, Faye,
yeah,
bitch.
You're sus. No, thank you.
You ain't not allowed
She's
in here.
She's got bad vibes.
You ain't not allowed.
You ain't not allowed. Back up. I will protect my little, flowers. Ugh. That being Nesta and Elaine. And
mostly Elaine.
Yeah, obviously. But she won't let her in. And then Elaine comes down. Mm-hmm. And upon seeing Feyre, starts sobbing.
Yeah.
I don't think it's because she knows she's Fae yet, but because, like, they thought she was dead.
I don't know. I feel like she probably... Because Feyre says something about, like, Fae have this, like, glow about them. And also the ears, like, I feel like she probably knew.
And stuff. There's a whole moment where they go and sit down and she reveals her ears and stuff. So, like, at the door, I don't think she quite knows she's Fae yet.
Okay.
I think they thought she was dead. Like, Elaine makes a comment, like, we thought you were dead or something. And she is bawling, probably to see Feyre, like, holy crap, you're alive.
Yeah.
And they let her in, and then that happens. She, like, pulls down her hood. So I don't know. Maybe she knew before.
I don't know. I just thought because the housekeeper was, like, very clearly...
Well, Elaine may not be the sharpest.
Well, I mean, none of them are. Let's be real.
Yeah. And they let her in, and...
Nesta's at the top of the stairs, like,
Uh-huh.
Bitch.
Why are you here?
Actually, no, it was said that, like, she looked like she just saw a ghost.
Yeah. And, I mean, Feyre's bringing bad news. It can't be anything good.
No.
She tells him the whole story to, at least the broad details of what went down, why she's Fae, and where they're at now, and proposes meeting the queens at the house.
And while she's talking, she notes that, like, Nesta... angles herself between Feyre and Elaine as if Feyre would ever do anything to hurt Elaine.
I know. Now Nesta's protecting Elaine from Feyre.
Yeah.
Which the last time this happened was when Tamlin came busting in.
Yeah.
And Nesta doesn't want to do this at all. She says absolutely not.
Yeah, and she's like, find somewhere else, bitch.
Right. It takes convincing from Elaine to make it happen.
Yeah.
Like, if we don't help her now, like, she could die. And so could a bunch of other people.
I have a quote I would like to read real quick.
Okay.
From Elaine in this moment. Oh my god, I just passed it.
Jeez Louise.
She says, Feyre gave and gave for years. Let us now help her help others. So it was just like acknowledging everything that Feyre sacrificed for them.
Yeah.
When they were younger, and
she's finally seeing there's something they could do for her.
Yeah.
Instead of vice versa. Yeah, I think
that
was
a little
does
heartwarming moment.
Nesta. Yeah. In this, we also learn Elaine's gonna get married.
Oh my god.
Elaine's gonna get married to Grayson, whose father is like anti-Fae, hardcore. Yeah. Like wants funding to kill Fae.
Yeah.
They're planning a resistance of some sort, I think. And then, she's like, hey, you want to meet my bat boys?
Yes. Yes, I do, please.
Can I? Sign me up.
Yeah.
Yeah, and brings them in. Yeah. That whole interaction's a lot. It's tense and awkward.
Is.
And
Nesta especially is like, she thinks she's a bad bitch.
Yeah.
And she's just like squaring up to everyone.
Yeah. And Cassian is looking at Nesta like, this is my new opponent.
Yeah.
Like, they're getting weird vibes.
Yeah.
And then Az and Elaine are really just trying to keep it together. Like,
yeah.
They're the only ones civil at the table who are like, y'all, can we calm down? Relax.
Everyone just take a chill pill.
Yeah. And
I feel like that would be me in that situation. Like, can't we all just get along?
I just don't want fighting. Please no. And Reese talks smack to her sisters about them not taking care of her. I have that quote too, but it's essentially that. I could read it, but he's just like, you did absolutely nothing for her. And now you're like guffawing at the idea that she needs something from you.
I also have a quote from Cassian standing up to Nesta that I want to read, so go ahead and read yours.
Okay. Actually...
Well, maybe I'll go first because I've got mine right here.
Yeah, go ahead.
Cassian says to Nesta, someone who let her younger sister risk her life every day in the woods while she did nothing. Oh, Nesta asked Cassian, I'm going to restart that quote, sorry. Notices him just glaring at her, and she's like, what are you looking at? And he says... Someone who let her younger sister risk her life every day in the woods while she did nothing. Someone who let a 14-year-old child go out into the forest so close to the wall. Your sister died. Died to save my people. She is willing to do so again to protect you from war. So don't expect me to sit here with my mouth shut while you sneer at her for a choice she did not get to make. And insult my people in the process.
Yeah.
Which I was just like, yes, Cassie, and someone finally fucking standing up for Feyre.
I know.
To her family.
I know. She finally has a group of people with her who are willing to speak up on her behalf, which is lovely. Mm-hmm. And I do love that. Reese says something too. The quote that I had marked is for something different. When she introduces the sisters, she uses their last name, Archeron. And she is like, I haven't used that name in so long.
Yeah.
She had not thought of her family name for so long and hadn't used it for years. And she says it's because even when I had sacrificed and hunted for them, I had not wanted my father's name. Not when he sat before that little fire and let us starve. Let me walk into the woods alone. I'd stopped using it the day I'd killed that rabbit and felt its blood stain my hands. The same way the blood of those fairies had marred it years later like an invisible tattoo. I was like, God damn, she's like just has been a nomad on her own for a really long time. Yeah. Like she has no allegiance, not in the way that matters. Like, no team behind her.
Yeah.
And it's starting to feel like she is getting one.
Oh, I love it.
I know. I do too.
It makes me so happy for her.
Me too.
Because she freaking deserves it.
Yes. And so they have this awkward dinner. I would have another line that made me laugh because Feyre's trying to eat the food and it's like trash. And Nessa's like, what? Like, it's not good enough for you?
Our food isn't good enough for you anymore?
So you can't eat normal food? Are you too good for it? A challenge. And Feyre says, I can eat, drink, fuck, and fight just as well as I did before. Better even. And I was like, yes, start standing up for yourself too. Like the men surrounding her in this situation are empowering her to start speaking up and to like take ownership of the power that she has.
Yeah.
Because with or without the magical part of it, like you can be a boss ass bitch. You don't have to just like bow to people. Yeah. And she starts standing up. So all of that's cool. I like how much is built there.
Yeah. She's growing.
Yeah. Yeah. And by the end of it, they have all these conversations, but Nesta does agree that they'll deliver a message to the queens. Yeah. And also says, like, you think we're bad, just wait for the queens and their prejudices. Like, it's going to be tough to convince them to help you.
Yeah.
So good luck with all of that.
And then they're like, we assume you guys want to spend the night here, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And this is where we wrap up for this episode. But Reese and Feyre share a room. Reese, that's when he mentions the bank account in Valaris.
That's right, yeah.
And she also says that she thinks there's something going on between Cassian and Moore. And he's like, you should mind your own business.
Yeah, don't mention that to anyone outside this bedroom.
Yeah, so what's that about? There's going to be some drama caused by all of that. But... yeah.
She also, like, Feyre gets into the bed and the sheets are warm. And she's like, thank you for warming the bed for me. And he says, Amarantha never thanked me for that.
I know.
And I was like,
I know. They start having these sweet moments together. Yeah. But yeah. That's the end of chapter 24.
Oh my god. It's friggin' juicy.
So much goes down.
Yeah.
And it's really building, one, like a community for her. She's finally feeling like she has people behind her back instead of her just putting herself on the line for everyone else.
Yeah.
Like, you know, her sisters, Tamlin, she's thrown herself in front of the bullet for everybody.
Yeah.
And now Reese wants to take care of her, like wants to help. And the inner circle does seem to as well.
It's all very
sweet. I love it so much.
I can't wait to see where it all goes.
I know, it's a huge buildup,
I've read it already,
well, but it's okay.
There's so many little things that I'm like, oh my god, I forgot about that.
Yeah, I know, it's getting really good.
Yeah. Y'all should check out our TikToks.
TikToks, Instagram, and YouTube are all Books and Crannies podcast.
Yeah.
And next week, we will be reading chapters...
oh, I should have had this prepared.
25 through... something.
Let me grab my phone.
Next week we are carrying on in the journey of Mist and Fury.
Yes.
And are starting at chapter 25. I know these last chapters are split almost equally, so I don't know where they are though.
What? 25 through 46.
Yes. So episode 4, y'all, read chapters 25 through 46 of A Court and Mist and Fury.
Okay.
Of Fury?
From here on out, I'll handle the titles.
Yeah, thank you. I can't do it. Akamath.
A Court of Mist and Fury.
I said A Court and Mist of Fury. So, something like that.
you were close.
Yeah, I just switched the and of.
Yeah, it's fine.
But anyway, read those ahead of time.
Yes.
And
Join
we'll talk
us
through that
next time.
Yeah. Also, you know, rate the podcast on whatever platform you're listening.
Yeah.
We'd love it.
If you're on YouTube, leave us some comments with some feedback. Things you might want to hear.
Things you may have noticed.
Anything we missed.
Yeah.
That was super important.
And give us a follow.
Yeah.
And
we'll friggin' see you guys next week.
Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah.
Happy reading.
Happy reading.
Okay, bye.